welcome to Tales in the Dark. I know many of you enjoy relaxing with these videos, so I recommend turning down the volume until my voice is barely audible. It'll make the experience even more soothing. Before you close your eyes, let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and enjoy listening. Story 1. In the quiet of evening, descending the stairs of my building, a peculiar sight greeted my eyes. A pale, flickering light danced in the corridor, its source hidden from view. Shadows twisted and swirled on the bare walls as if telling stories of their own. The air held a chill, tinged with the faint aroma of aged paint, and my steps echoed in the surreal silence that enveloped me. Pausing, I felt drawn to unravel the enigma of this ethereal light, suspended between the echoes of the past and the shroud of the unknown. Each step I took seemed to slow naturally, as if guided by an unseen force towards the mesmerizing glow that pulsated gently, like a slumbering breath. The aged wooden floor beneath me whispered tales of yesteryears with every cautious movement, its grains holding secrets untold. The temperature plummeted as I neared, conjuring a wispy mist that twirled playfully around the edges of the light. Its quality was peculiarly familiar, yet entirely foreign, neither harsh like modern LEDs, nor warm like incandescent bulbs. Instead, it exuded a pearlescent hue, akin to moonlight filtering through morning mist. Captivated, I watched as the light seemed to acknowledge my presence, swaying and shifting with a subtle grace, like seaweed dancing in a gentle current. The faded wallpaper of the corridor absorbed and reflected the mysterious radiance, casting intricate patterns of light and shadow that seemed to shift when not directly observed. The musty scent of the building transformed into a sweeter fragrance, reminiscent of dried flowers carefully pressed between the pages of an ancient tome. Time lost its grasp on me, slipping away unnoticed as if flowing like honey from a spoon. The silence deepened, not oppressively, but like a comforting embrace, shielding me from the chaos of the world beyond. Amidst the quietude, soft sounds drifted occasionally, the whispers of old wood settling, or perhaps something more mystical. The light gradually unveiled more of its essence, revealing subtle hues of lavender and sea green swirling harmoniously like watercolors blending on parchment. Memories of my grandmother's tales surfaced, stories of mysterious lights guiding lost souls home. But was I lost, I pondered? A gentle warmth radiated from the light, contrasting the corridor's cold, akin to the lingering touch of sunlight on skin after a summer day's end. Recollections flooded my mind, some familiar, others belonging to the very fabric of the building itself. The light's movements grew purposeful, as if trying to convey a message through its shifting patterns, forming words in a language beyond my comprehension. Swaying in sync with its rhythm, I raised my hand, which cast no shadow against the wall. Instead, the light enveloped it, flowing around my fingers like liquid moonbeams. The sensation straddled the line between fear and comfort, existing in the realm where the known meets the mysterious, the ordinary intertwines with the extraordinary. Time wove its intricate tapestry in the corridor, hours or moments passing unnoticed as I stood witness to this gentle spectacle. The building's usual groans morphed into a melodic symphony, harmonizing with the pulsating light in perfect unity. Gradually, a shift in the atmosphere unfolded. The light dimmed slowly, not signaling an end but blending seamlessly with the natural shadows of dusk. Its departure left behind a residue of wonder, altering the fabric of reality in a subtle, unexplainable manner. Turning to leave, the corridor appeared unchanged yet fundamentally different. The old wallpaper, worn floorboards, and familiar shadows seemed to conceal newfound secrets, invisible to my eyes before that moment. To this day, the mystery of that corridor remains unexplained. The light never reappeared in the same manner, but at times, in the threshold between evening and night, I sense a familiar warmth, catch a glimpse of pearly radiance in my periphery. I wonder if the light lingers, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself once more, to another soul in need of a reminder that reality harbors more mysteries than we dare to fathom. Story 2. Amid a solitary saunter through a nearly empty park, the rustle of dry branches in a soft breeze took on the guise of a gentle whisper. Yellowed leaves and damp earth emitted an ancient, earthy scent, as the sound morphed into a more defined murmur, as if yearning to divulge a forgotten tale. The park, in that instant, transcended mere space. It felt like a guardian of enigmas carried on the wind. I found myself irresistibly drawn further into the meandering pathways, where shadows cavorted beneath age-old trees, their branches swaying in mesmerizing rhythms. The waning light of late afternoon filtered through the foliage, casting a golden glow that bathed everything in cozy, dreamlike hues. Each of my footfalls landed softly on the carpet of fallen leaves, releasing delicate wisps of that distinct autumn perfume with every step. The whispers persisted, neither intensifying nor diminishing, maintaining a steady cadence that seemed to synchronize with my heartbeat. Though I couldn't discern clear words, the sound bore an unmistakable purposefulness. It was as if nature itself sought to converse through the gentle rustling of branches and leaves. While walking, I observed minute details that appeared oddly flawless. A flawlessly circular cluster of mushrooms, their caps shimmering with an iridescent luster unseen before, a patch of grass retaining its emerald hue amid the autumnal setting, and most intriguingly, a bench that seemed crafted from dark wood yet gleamed like polished obsidian in the light. The temperature remained constant despite the setting sun, neither warm nor cool, fostering a sense of timelessness. Seating myself on the enigmatic bench, its surface smooth and surprisingly inviting, the whispers seemed to respond to my presence, assuming a more melodic quality. I shut my eyes, permitting the gentle sounds to envelop me. In this state of serene contemplation, I discerned subtle shifts in the surroundings. The air thickened with the scent of rain, though no cloud marred the sky. The whispers began intertwining, forming patterns that eluded my mind's grasp, but resonated with my heart's understanding. Time turned fluid, ebbing and flowing like waves on a shore. I could have lingered there for minutes or hours. The park had metamorphosed into a haven where the ordinary constructs of reality seemed to hold less sway. Opening my eyes, I beheld shadows assuming peculiar shapes, moving independently of the branches casting them. A gentle mist rose from the ground, not chilly or damp, but warm and otherworldly. It swirled around my feet in deliberate patterns, shaping forms that dissolved as soon as my mind sought to recognize them. The whispers had evolved into a gentle symphony of natural sounds, each bearing fragments of tales too ancient to be transcribed into words. As twilight neared, the park unveiled more of its mysteries. Small lights, akin to fireflies yet more crystalline in essence, began emerging amidst the trees. They moved with purpose, crafting constellations mirroring the patterns in the mist below. The bench beneath me seemed to throb with a subtle warmth, as if resonating with the burgeoning magic around us. Notably, my shadow no longer mimicked my form precisely. It trailed with a slight delay, sometimes executing gestures I hadn't made. Rather than instilling fear, this observation imparted a strange comfort, as if I was being shown that reality harbored more layers than typically perceived. The whispers began fading as night drew near, yet they left an imprint in my mind, akin to the lingering dazzle of a bright light. Rising from the bench, I felt both lighter and more rooted than when I had initially sat down. The mist swirled around my legs one final time before dispersing into the nocturnal air. Traversing back along the path, I realized that while I could possibly rediscover this spot, it would never quite be the same as in this moment. The park had shared something singular with me, a glimpse into its concealed essence that few are privileged to witness. The dry branches continued their gentle sway overhead, now seeming to bid adieu. I carried not solely memories, but a profound certainty that magic dwells in the world, veiled in plain sight, awaiting those willing to sit quietly and heed its whispers. Glancing back one final time, I watched the bench shimmer in the dwindling sunlight before blending into the encroaching darkness. Whether my encounter held tangible reality by conventional standards mattered less than the verity it had unveiled. That mystery and awe endure in the spaces between what we presume to know and what our hearts intuit to be true. Story 3. After a weary day, I sought solace in my room, where darkness and silence enveloped me like a comforting shroud. In the soft glow, a fleeting shadow danced along the wall, teasing my gaze before vanishing into the obscurity from whence it came. The room exuded the faint aroma of aged wood, and a solitary chime broke the quiet, leaving an eerie sensation of unseen eyes peering from the shadows. Nestling into my beloved armchair, its familiar fabric worn and welcoming beneath my touch, I listened to the gentle patter of rain outside, a lulling cadence against the window pane. Illuminated by a solitary lamp, the room basked in pools of amber light that seemed to pulse in harmony with the whispering wind that caressed the old house. The lingering memory of the earlier shadow lingered in my mind. This room had revealed peculiarities to me before. In recent weeks, I had observed subtle shifts in the way darkness gathered in the room's corners. Sometimes the shadows moved of their own accord, their dance out of sync with the natural world outside. But tonight felt different. The air held a weight, a palpable heaviness akin to the calm before a storm, yet this storm brewed within the confines of the room. My collection of weathered books stood sentinel on the shelves, their leather spines gleaming softly in the lamplight. As I watched, the shadows amidst them deepened, forming intricate patterns reminiscent of flowing streams. Reaching for my tea, I felt an unexplained chill on one side of the cup, as if warmth had been drawn away. Bringing the cup to my lips, my gaze met a distorted reflection in the dark liquid, the surface rippling as though stirred by unseen hands. The grandfather clock in the corner maintained its steady rhythm, each tick ringing out a fraction longer than expected. I found myself counting the elongated seconds, witnessing time stretch and contract like elastic in a surreal dance. The pendulum's swing cast misaligned shadows, a ghostly spectacle that defied reason. Rising from my seat, I approached the window to draw the curtains. The fabric hung heavier than usual, and as I pulled it across, a movement in the glass caught my eye. It was not my own reflection, or at least not entirely. The figure within moved with a grace both familiar and foreign, akin to watching oneself in a dream. The rain's symphony continued its gentle song, now revealing whispered patterns that almost formed coherent words just beyond comprehension. Pressing my hand against the cool glass, I felt a faint, ethereal touch in response, delicate as a moth's wing. Turning back to the room, I noticed the shadows had rearranged themselves once more, now emanating from a central point that remained elusive, just beyond my sight. Returning to the bookshelf, one particular volume stood out, its surroundings cloaked in denser shadows. It was an ancient journal discovered in the house, its pages bare save for a cryptic inscription on the first page. They come with the shadows, but they mean no harm. Retreating to my chair with the journal in hand, the lamp's light seemed to bend around it, casting intricate patterns that danced across its cover. Opening the journal, I felt as though I peered into unfathomable depths, the blank pages holding secrets beyond reach. As night deepened, the interplay of light and shadow blurred the boundaries between them, weaving intricate tapestries of meaning just beyond comprehension. The initial shadow now had companions, their movements deliberate and serene, devoid of malice. These shadows were not mere absence of light, but rather manifestations of a different kind of presence, a silent chorus of forgotten memories and untold stories. The room transformed into a realm betwixt realms, where light and shadow obeyed different laws. and as the night wore on, I harbored no fear, only a profound sense of awe. The shadows continued their silent waltz, revealing glimpses of a world unseen, waiting patiently for acknowledgement in the quiet corners of existence. When sleep finally beckoned, it enveloped me like a gentle embrace, akin to descending into a tranquil abyss. Upon waking, all appeared as it should, the shadows once again behaving as expected. Yet now, I perceived nuances previously overlooked, their lingering presence, a subtle consciousness in their movements, and in moments of stillness, I sensed them observing, anticipating the next occasion when light fades and the realm of possibility unfolds. Story 4. On a rainy afternoon, I chose to explore an ancient path near a dense forest. The damp earth exhaled the fresh fragrance of moist soil and decaying leaves, while raindrops formed small mirror-like puddles along the way. To my surprise, the trail appeared to fade in certain stretches, as if nature had erased all signs. I walked on amidst droplets and shifting shadows, feeling my heart synchronize with the unexplainable quietness enveloping me. The soft patter of rain against leaves crafted a calming rhythm as I delved deeper into the misty wilderness. My steps created gentle squelching sounds in the mud, each movement deliberate and precise. The air grew heavy with moisture, carrying whispers of something ancient and forgotten. I observed peculiar patterns on the moss-covered trees, perfectly circular formations that seemed too precise to be natural. Continuing my journey, the rain transformed into a gentle mist, and an eerie stillness settled over the forest. The path ahead would materialize clearly one moment, then fade into nothingness the next, only to reappear further down. It felt as though the trail itself was breathing, expanding and contracting with each passing moment. This strange phenomenon didn't scare me, but rather pulled me forward, like a gentle force guiding me deeper into the woods. Time seemed to flow differently in this realm. My watch continued to tick, yet the minutes stretched and compressed unpredictably. The shifting gray light obscured my sense of time, making it impossible to gauge how long I'd been walking. I often paused to marvel at how the mist curled around certain trees while avoiding others entirely. The moisture in the air left delicate droplets on my skin, each one resembling a soft whisper of recognition. Deeper within the forest, I stumbled upon something extraordinary. Patches of ground where my footprints vanished moments after I left them, as if the earth itself was slowly erasing my presence. The soil felt different underfoot, more responsive, akin to walking on velvet. The air thrummed with a subtle vibration that seemed to resonate with something deep within me. I began noticing other subtle anomalies. Clearings appeared where rain defied gravity, falling upward in lazy spirals before dissipating into the canopy. Stones along the path shifted positions when I looked away, arranging themselves in geometric patterns visible only from specific angles. Instead of fear, these discoveries filled me with wonder and tranquility. The forest's symphony grew more intricate. Beyond the rainfall, I heard what sounded like distant wind chimes, though no metal hung from the ancient branches. The melodic sound followed me, always just beyond reach, weaving through the trees like silver threads in an unseen tapestry. My breathing slowed to match this ethereal rhythm, my mind entering a state of peaceful alertness. As the day progressed, the vanishing act of the trail intensified. Sections would fade away, leaving me on pristine forest floor with no clear direction. Yet, an instinct guided me, a natural intuition as effortless as breathing. The disappearing path wasn't leading me astray, but teaching me to see the forest in a new light. The mist began to tint with subtle colors, soft blues and pale purples pulsing with inner light. I watched as luminescent motes floated through the air like stars descending in slow motion. They danced in response to my movements, swirling elegantly whenever I gestured. The forest teemed with these gentle lights, each one a tiny beacon in the growing dusk. When I decided to head back, I realized a profound truth. The The trail hadn't vanished. It had shown me how to navigate the forest without leaving a trace, how to blend harmoniously with the ancient woods. The disappearing path wasn't a puzzle to solve, but a lesson in becoming part of something greater than myself. As I journeyed home, the rain returned, soft and constant. The forest seemed to pulse with a serene contentment, and I comprehended that I had glimpsed its hidden secrets. The vanishing trail had guided me not only through the woods, but through the veil separating the ordinary from the extraordinary. Even now, I can close my eyes and sense the gentle tug of that mysterious path, ever changing, ever teaching, forever vanishing and reappearing like a breath on a mirror. Story 5. As I paused beside the tranquil pond, I stooped to gaze at my reflection dancing in the gentle ripples. But what I beheld sent a shiver down my spine, a faint visage, barely discernible amidst the undulating water, that bore no resemblance to my own. The atmosphere was draped in a soft mist, carrying with it the nostalgic scent of algae, while the image seemed to murmur a tale ancient and forgotten, hiding deep within the watery depths. Kneeling there, captivated by the serene motion of the water, recollections of my grandmother's tales about water spirits drifted through my thoughts. She often spoke of how quiet waters held enigmatic secrets for those patient enough to heed. The whispering rustle of leaves above serenaded me with a tranquil melody, harmonized by the occasional splash of minuscule fish breaching the surface. Following that initial encounter, I found myself drawn to the pond with increasing frequency. Each dusk, as the sun commenced its leisurely descent, casting elongated shadows across the water's expanse, I would perch on the weathered wooden bench nearby. In that ethereal light, the water possessed an otherworldly quality, neither a mere mirror nor a window, but something betwixt. Sometimes I caught fleeting glimpses of that enigmatic countenance, forever on the verge of clarity, akin to a word left unfinished in a sentence. The locals harbored various theories about the pond, as folktales often do. Some claimed it was fed by subterranean springs linked to ancient water networks. Others insisted it was bottomless. An elderly resident nearby recounted witnessing luminous emanations beneath the water's surface on certain evenings, speaking of it with a tranquil acceptance that left me pondering the veracity of his words. One mist-laden evening, the water appeared altered, utterly still, akin to glass, mirroring the deepening purple sky above. Enveloped in a cocoon of serene silence, I noticed a peculiar anomaly in my own reflection. It seemed to lag slightly behind my movements, as if observing me with inquisitive intent. The previously glimpsed face materialized more distinctly now, possessing feminine features with eyes brimming with centuries of forbearance. At that moment, a gentle tug brushed against my mind, akin to the inception of a dialogue. No words were spoken, yet impressions began flowing into my consciousness. I glimpsed fragments of the pond through time, endless seasons transitioning, people arriving and departing, secrets shared and retained. The face in the water had borne witness to it all, safeguarding memories too precious or perilous for the world above. Moisture laden the air, tiny droplets collecting upon my skin. My attire gradually dampened, yet I remained motionless, enthralled by the wordless communion. The face divulged more. Ancient rites performed at water's edge, lovers exchanging vows, children mastering the art of swimming, elders finding solace in their final moments. The pond was more than mere water. It was a custodian of narratives, a silent chronicler of human existence. As night descended fully, accompanied by a symphony of crickets and the intermittent hoot of a distant owl, I realized I had lingered there for hours. The countenance began to fade, but not before imparting one final impression, a sense of gratitude for being truly seen, for someone acknowledging its presence after so long. The water rippled gently, as though stirred by an unseen zephyr, and the surface reverted to its customary state. Traversing homeward that night, garments still dampened by mist, I sensed a subtle yet profound transformation within me. The world appeared imbued with a newfound richness, layered with hidden significances and untold sagas. I comprehended then why my grandmother spoke of water spirits with such reverence. They were not meant to instill fear, but to prompt recollection of the profound connections coursing beneath the veneer of daily life. I continued to frequent the pond regularly, though never again have I experienced such a vivid communion with the face in the water. Occasionally, when sunlight caresses the surface just so, I catch a glimpse of those age-old eyes and feel a familiar, gentle tug within my mind. The pond has evolved into my sanctuary, where the boundary between past and present, memory and reality thins wondrously. Frequently, individuals question why I dedicate so much time beside the water, particularly on mist-shrouded evenings. I merely smile and convey that I am listening to ancient tales. For certain mysteries are meant to be lived rather than explicated, felt rather than comprehended. Amidst the tranquil ripples of that ancient pond, I have unearthed that the line dividing observer and observed can blur, birthing a dance of reflection that transcends the ordinary confines of our world. The face in the water persists as my silent confidant, a sentinel of memories both personal and communal. In its presence, I have learned that the most profound mysteries often unfold quietly, imparting their secrets to those who take the time to listen, to observe, and to ponder. Story 6. In an abandoned building, as I wandered through its forgotten corridors, I stumbled upon a room shrouded in silence, interrupted only by the soft echo of my own breath. Amidst the stillness, a faint whisper beckoned from a weathered wall, its fissures etched with the echoes of bygone lives. The air was heavy with a blend of dust and dampness, transforming each whispered syllable into a riddle, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. At first glance, the wall appeared unassuming, its surface adorned with intricate spiderweb cracks reminiscent of delicate lace. Yet as I stood there, bathed in the dim light filtering through smudged windows, a peculiar realization dawned upon me. The fissures, rather than chaotic, formed subtle patterns akin to a cryptic language eluding my comprehension. Intrigued, I extended my hand towards the wall, my fingertips tracing the ancient fissures. The surface was cool and faintly damp, its texture reminiscent of aged parchment. As my touch lingered, I discerned faint vibrations pulsating beneath the surface, akin to a dormant heartbeat resonating within the structure's core. The whispers persisted, growing clearer yet enigmatic, a chorus of voices from eras past converging into a soft cacophony. Each word carried the weight of untold stories, of forgotten memories yearning to be heard. Pressing my ear against the wall, I closed my eyes, allowing the fragmented whispers to weave through my consciousness like wisps of smoke. Phrases emerged, fleeting and evocative, evoking images of joyous melodies, of children's laughter echoing through empty halls. As the whispers enveloped me, a shift in the atmosphere unfolded. The stagnant scent of decay gave way to subtle hints of lavender and vanilla, while the air seemed to warm around me. In the distance, a phantom piano serenaded the vacant space with its melancholic melody, drifting like a phantom through the desolate building. Lost in time's embrace, I remained ensconced within that room, where moments stretched infinitely, suspended in a realm of whispered secrets and ephemeral sensations. The fading light cast elongated shadows as the whispers gradually dwindled, their essence fading into the ether. A gentle pressure against my palm, akin to a farewell embrace, signaled the wall's weariness, its tales nearing their conclusion. The warmth dissolved, replaced by the familiar chill of abandonment as I reluctantly prepared to depart. Before leaving, a subtle transformation caught my eye. The fissures in the wall had shifted, forming new enigmatic patterns that tantalized with their elusive message. Yet, like a mirage slipping through trembling fingers, the meaning remained just beyond grasp, a tantalizing enigma lingering in the shadows. Though I never revisited that forsaken building, its memory lingered like a phantom, a spectral whisper in the recesses of my mind. Some mysteries, I realized, are destined to remain partially veiled, existing in the twilight realm between comprehension and ambiguity. In moments of quiet reflection, when the world hushes to a whisper, I sense a familiar vibration resonating through the walls around me, a gentle reminder of the hidden narratives each structure holds. Yet none have resonated with me as profoundly as that enigmatic wall, with its language of whispers and echoes, of fragrances and echoes that bridge the chasm between past and present. The encounter bestowed upon me a profound tranquility, a serene acceptance of the enigmatic, teaching me that some truths need not be fully unveiled to hold significance. In the tapestry of existence, some tales are best left partially told, allowing our minds to meander through the realm of possibilities like leaves dancing upon an autumn breeze. Story 7. On a serene spring morning, I ventured out into my garden and noticed a delicate wisp of steam rising from the moist soil. The mist swirled gracefully among the freshly bloomed flowers, creating enigmatic and ever-shifting shapes. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of new blossoms and damp earth, while the ephemeral veil seemed to conceal a cryptic message, barely perceptible to the soul. As I wandered further into my garden, the soft rustle of the wind through the leaves produced a soothing, lulling melody. Dewdrops glistened on spider webs, turning them into intricate, crystal creations that captured the gentle morning light. The steam continued its ascent, meandering through rose bushes and climbing vines, forming an ethereal curtain that appeared to separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. There was something peculiar about the way the mist moved. While most of it dissipated naturally in the morning breeze, one slender tendril retained its shape, twirling in a deliberate manner near my grandmother's weathered stone bench. Memories flooded my mind as I recalled sitting there as a child, listening to her tales of the garden's hidden enchantments and ancient wisdom. The persistent strand of steam seemed to beckon me closer, its motion akin to a gentle finger guiding me forward. As I drew near, I sensed a subtle shift in temperature, a delicate balance that seemed to suspend time itself. The stone bench, weathered by the elements, felt smoother than I remembered, almost velvety beneath my touch. In the hush of that moment, I began to observe subtle transformations in my garden. Flowers I had not planted bloomed in perfect spirals around the bench, their petals familiar, yet somehow altered, deeper in hue, with an iridescent sheen that shifted with the dance of the steam. The morning sunlight filtering through the mist cast rainbow halos around these mysterious blooms. The gentle patter of water droplets falling from leaves created a natural cadence, within which I discerned a faint pattern, like a gentle code or an ancient language spoken by the garden itself. The steam continued its mesmerizing performance, shaping letters reminiscent of alphabets from my grandmother's old books, teasing comprehension just beyond reach. Seated on the bench, enveloped in this tranquil enigma, I spied my grandmother's silver locket, half buried in the soil near my feet, a forgotten treasure from her past. The steam seemed to gather around it, forming a perfect circle of clarity amidst the misty garden. When I picked up the locket, it radiated warmth, as though basking in summer sunshine rather than cool spring earth. The weight of the locket in my hand evoked memories of my grandmother's teachings about the garden's silent language for those willing to listen. She spoke of rare mornings when the veil between our world and the garden's hidden depths grew thin, allowing glimpses of a profound reality. I had dismissed these tales as bedtime stories for a curious child. The steam began to thin, except around the locket, maintaining its circular vigil. Holding it, I felt a gentle hum, resonating with the symphony of the morning. The mysterious flowers turned towards the locket, their petals shimmering with heightened luminosity. The dewdrops fell in a deliberate rhythmic pattern, altering time's flow, merging dreams with waking moments. The usual sounds of the garden melded into a harmonious whisper, carrying elusive meanings just beyond comprehension. The pulsing of the steam veil mirrored the garden's heartbeat, breathing in synchrony with its rhythm. As the morning unfolded, the steam gradually dissipated, yet its influence lingered. The mysterious flowers remained, their unique hues now permanent fixtures in my garden. Opening the locket revealed only a faint scent of my grandmother's cherished roses. The stone bench retained its silken smoothness, and the dewdrops continued their rhythmic ballet. Each morning, I returned to that bench, awaiting the steam's ethereal return. At times I catch glimpses of it, playing at the edge of my vision, carrying whispered tidings I am slowly beginning to decipher. Since that morning, my garden has been transformed, a realm where reality and mystery coalesce in perfect union. Each flower holds a hidden tale, and the veil between worlds remains tantalizingly thin, a reminder that some mysteries are more beautiful when shrouded in partial secrecy. Story 8. As I strolled down a weathered alley, my eyes caught a glimpse of a nearly invisible mural etched in white chalk on a brick wall. Intrigued, I drew nearer, and the faint image slowly unveiled a face with a mysterious, knowing grin. The air hung still, carrying hints of smoke and damp stone, while that enigmatic smile seemed to hold within it a tale of forgotten desires and hidden truths never meant to be unearthed. Each morning following my initial encounter, I felt a magnetic pull back to that narrow passage. The aged bricks whispered of untold stories within their crevices, and the smile appeared to shift ever so subtly with each return. At times it bore a touch of melancholy, other moments it exuded wisdom, as if sharing a confidential message with observant passers-by. The echo of my footsteps softly reverberated against the worn walls, blending with the gentle rustle of autumn leaves dancing across weathered cobblestones. In those serene moments before dawn, when the world held its breath betwixt night and day, I stood before the smiling face, allowing my fingertips to trace the rough texture of the bricks, feeling the faint grooves where the chalk had settled. On a mist-laden morning, a peculiar sight caught my eye. Beneath the grin, barely visible in the dim light, faint inscriptions emerged. The delicate letters, akin to whispers frozen in time, seemed to materialize and dissipate with each shift of the fog. Leaning in, my breath mingling with the mist, I discerned an elegant, flowing script dancing across the brick surface. Most of it had faded beyond recognition, but a few words stood clear. Beneath the seventh stone. My heart quickened, not with fear, but with the thrill of unearthing a long-buried secret. I began counting the bricks beneath the smile, my fingers gliding over each one. The seventh brick felt subtly distinct, its mortar slightly fresher, though weathered enough to blend in seamlessly. Over the ensuing weeks, I revisited the wall at various hours, observing how the changing light transformed the enigmatic smile. During the golden hours of sunset, the chalk seemed to emanate an inner radiance. Even amidst rainfall, the water trickled down the wall, yet the smile persevered, softening but never washing away entirely. I started bringing my sketchbook, attempting to capture the myriad moods of the smile. Yet each drawing felt incomplete, as if some essence of the image remained elusive. While others traversed the alley, few appeared to notice the smile. Those who did paused briefly, their expressions subtly shifting before continuing on their way. One twilight, as the final rays of sunlight painted the sky in pastel hues, I spied an elderly woman standing before the wall. Clad in a gray woolen coat and leaning on a wooden cane, her expression bore a mix of recognition and gentle sorrow. She uttered softly, almost as if to the smile itself, "You were always too clever for your own good," her fingers trembling as she reached out to touch the wall. When she departed, I noticed a small object left on the ledge beneath the seventh brick, a tarnished brass key, its intricate, old-fashioned design captivating. The key felt warm in my hand, as though it had absorbed not just the day's heat, but memories or secrets too. Unmatching any lock I knew, with peculiar tooth patterns and delicate engravings along its shaft, I found myself carrying it, tracing its surface during quiet interludes. Weeks passed, and the smile seemed to grow clearer rather than fade. New details emerged, the hint of a dimple in certain lights, a subtle curve at the corner of the mouth, hinting at amusement. The wall became my sanctuary, where time flowed differently, and the ordinary world felt distant. Then came the morning of change, though in the gentlest manner. Arriving at dawn, I beheld a group of workers commencing the restoration of the old alley. They conversed in muted tones, revering the early hour as they readied to cleanse and repair the brick walls. My heart ached at the thought of the smile being erased. Yet as I approached for a final glimpse, I beheld something extraordinary. Where the chalk smile once lay, a natural pattern emerged in the brick itself, curves and shadows forming the familiar, knowing expression. The workers worked diligently around it, seemingly grasping its significance without explanation. The brass key in my pocket warmed, and I comprehended that some enigmas are destined to remain just that, enigmas. Today I still frequent the alley, though less often. The smile endures, more subdued now but unmistakably present, transformed from chalk into something enduring. At times in the right light or moments of stillness, I catch a glimpse of those faded words beneath it, or feel the key's warmth against my skin, and I reciprocate the smile, partaking in its secret. The seventh brick remains slightly loose, its mystery unopened. Perhaps it's for the best. Some doors are meant to stay shut, safeguarding their tales for future dreamers who may chance upon them, glance upward, and ponder the smile on the brick wall. Story 9. Amidst the renovations of an ancient building, a discovery awaited me. A slab of stone, intricately adorned with symbols veiled in mystery and words etched with care. The air surrounding it carried the essence of cold rock and hidden memories, as if whispering tales of times long past. Each inscription seemed to weave a fragment of a forgotten narrative, beckoning me to unravel its enigma. Leaning closer, I felt the weight of ages pressing upon me, sensing that this stone held a secret destined to endure through eternity. Tracing my fingers along the smooth surface, a soft whisper of air swept through the time-worn halls, its rhythm shifting, almost resembling a distant breath. The stone, smoother than expected, bore not the marks of time, but the imprints of countless hands that had caressed it before mine. In the dim, dust-filtered light, I discerned what seemed to be dates arranged in a sequence defying conventional time. The first decipherable entry spoke of moonlight and shadows, penned with elegance tinged with uncertainty. When the full moon ascends, shadows here sway against its glow, the inscription revealed. They dance in patterns mirroring the stars above. Unconsciously, my gaze wandered to the shadows in my own corner, observing their subtle play as they elongated and shifted with each movement of my lamp. As I delved deeper, the room's temperature gradually dropped, reminiscent of a crisp autumn evening carrying the scent of fallen leaves and distant rain. The stone beneath my touch seemed to radiate warmth, as if acknowledging my presence and sharing its centuries-old embrace. The following passage spoke of rooms morphing in size depending on the time of day, meticulously chronicling the subtle variations, walls expanding during twilight, doorways contracting at dawn. Despite the scientific precision of these observations, a sense of wonder pervaded the writings, eclipsing any hint of fear. Nestling against an aged wooden beam, I continued to unravel the stone's tale, each entry adding layers to a mystery both profound and strangely comforting. Through the decades, perhaps even centuries, the narrative unfolded, with some entries recounting the faint strains of music resonating from the building's core, while others detailed the shadows pausing fleetingly before resuming their languid dance along the walls. The air thickened with the weight of accumulated memories, and I found myself synchronizing my breath with the building's subtle cadence, the murmurs of ancient timber settling, and the whispered echoes of phantom footsteps in vacant corridors. The stone's surface continued to radiate a gentle warmth, akin to a living being imparting its stored heat. A particular entry, scribed in a steady hand, seized my attention. The edifice retains memory. Each stone bears the imprint of those who've traversed its paths. In the quietest moments, their presence can be felt, not as haunting specters, but as gentle reverberations of lives lived, tales exchanged, instants immortalized within these walls. As I delved further into the stone's enigmas, I discerned a shift in the room's illumination. The dust motes swirled lazily in beams of afternoon sun, stretching unnaturally long. Time seemed distorted within these walls, influenced by the stone's peculiar chronology, altering the very essence of the air around me. The final legible inscription, though enigmatic, bestowed upon me a profound serenity. We are not the initial discoverers of this haven, nor shall we be the last. With each reader, the stone grows warmer, each touch adding to its treasury of memories. Some claim the edifice itself reads us, assimilating our narratives as we uncover its secrets. Reclining, my hand resting upon the now warm stone, I embraced the unresolved mysteries it cradled, devoid of any urgency to unravel them entirely. Instead, I found solace in becoming a part of the eternal lineage of readers and witnesses, each contributing a fragment to the stone's infinite chronicle. As the day waned, the shadows subtly shifted, their movements slightly askew from the natural play of light. The air retained its refreshing coolness, and from afar, a faint melody seemed to rise from the depths of the building's foundation. While preparing to depart, a peculiar sight halted me. My reflection in a nearby window lagged slightly behind my movements. Grinning, I acknowledged this as yet another tale to be inscribed upon the stone, an additional enigma enriching its repository. The edifice had shared its secrets, yet I comprehended that certain queries were meant to linger unanswered, certain narratives best left gently unfinished. Gathering my belongings, I acknowledged the beckoning of the stone diary, its call not urgent or forceful, but persistently soft, cradling mysteries that soothed rather than unsettled. Within this ancient realm, where time flowed uniquely and shadows pirouetted to their own rhythm, I unearthed a peculiar tranquility within the unknown. Story 10. The night was draped in a thick blanket of silence, broken only by the gentle hum of the train gliding along the tracks. Nestled in the final carriage, I found myself enveloped in a soft, muted glow emanating from the delicate fixtures dangling above. The air held a subtle warmth, and the rhythmic movement of the train cast a spell of tranquility over me, lulling my senses into a hypnotic embrace. Outside, the fog pirouetted lazily in the darkness, morphing into fleeting shapes that dissolved into the night. In that dimly lit carriage, I believed myself to be the sole occupant, lost in the dance of shadows and light. My reflection in the window merged seamlessly with the obsidian night beyond, creating an illusion of a silent observer on the other side. The symphony of the rails whispered a mechanical lullaby, coaxing me towards slumber. But as I gazed at my reflection, a shiver tingled down my spine. A shadow loomed behind me, a figure seated a few rows away. I racked my memory, but found no recollection of their arrival. Yet there they sat, a phantom presence in the stillness. The train pressed on through the night, its wheels spinning tales of old, forgotten times. With cautious movements, I shifted my gaze towards the mysterious figure. Bathed in an amber glow, the carriage cast elongated shadows over vacant seats. The enigmatic silhouette remained motionless, cloaked in darkness with a wide-brimmed hat concealing their features. Time seemed to stretch as I studied the silent voyager. Memories not my own lingered in the air, thickening the atmosphere. The figure made no sound, no movement, blending seamlessly with the train's essence. Attempting nonchalance, I rose from my seat, feigning a trip to the rear of the carriage. Each step brought me closer to the unknown presence. Their coat, a fabric that seemed to swallow light, exuded an icy chill. A delicate fragrance of lavender and aged books wafted around them, casting a spell of intrigue. Passing by their seat, a sense of suspended time gripped me. The distant rumble of the wheels faded, as if from another realm. And then, a chilling realization dawned. Beneath that dark cloak, there was no telltale rise and fall of breath. Reaching the end of the carriage, I hesitated, torn between advancing to the next cabin or retracing my steps. The corridor stretched infinitely, hypnotic patterns swirling under the dim illumination. When I glanced back, the seat once occupied by the enigmatic figure lay empty, save for an ancient train ticket, its edges yellowed with time. Trembling, I grasped the ticket, its date a relic from half a century past, on that very day. Warmth lingered on the aged paper, as though a phantom hand had just released its hold. Returning to my seat, I clutched the ticket, a tangible echo of the surreal encounter. The train journeyed onward through the night, its wheels a steady cadence once more. Beyond the misted window, elusive figures seemed to walk in tandem with the train, companions on its nocturnal voyage. As weariness tugged at my eyelids, I pondered how many others had crossed paths with the enigmatic passenger on the final train of the night. The ticket in my hand felt increasingly insubstantial, slipping through my fingers like a fading dream upon waking. The train bore its secrets and spectral passengers through the night as I succumbed to sleep. A hint of lavender lingered in the air, accompanied by the echo of retreating footsteps down the carriage corridor, fading into the night. Story 11. In the midst of my usual routine, a forgotten amusement park caught my eye one foggy evening, drawing me in with an irresistible force. The park, once vibrant with life and laughter, now stood abandoned, its rides rusted and pathways overgrown. Yet, amidst the decay, a single light shone steadily from the park's center, pulsing in a hypnotic rhythm that beckoned me closer. The air carried a hint of sweetness, like cotton candy and distant memories intertwined. As I walked along the gravel path, the soft crunch of gravel beneath my feet mingled with the gentle rustle of tall grass swaying in the evening breeze. Nature had begun to reclaim the park, ivy snaking around the skeletal remains of attractions, and moonflowers blooming in the places where children once played. Approaching the source of light, I noticed peculiar details that blurred the line between deterioration and preservation. A carousel stood motionless, its mirrors reflecting the pulsing light in mesmerizing patterns. The weathered horses seemed to hold ancient secrets behind their painted eyes, a reminder of their former glory. The light emanated from the park's central pavilion, a Victorian-style structure adorned with intricate woodwork that cast elaborate shadows in the soft glow. Its rhythm resonated deep within me, syncing with the pulse of the universe itself, transcending time in that mysterious place. The fog enveloped me in a dreamlike haze, distant sounds filtering through as if carried on the wind. A music box's melody, whispered conversations, and the settling of structures created a nocturnal symphony that swayed my mind between wakefulness and slumber. Inside the pavilion, the source of light revealed itself, a brass lamp atop a pristine table, surrounded by artifacts untouched by time. A leather-bound ticket book, a conductor's hat, and a brass key lay in the warm circle of illumination, each item exuding a sense of expectancy. As I perused the ticket book, entries spanning decades beckoned me with names that seemed to shift and change, defying a fixed reality. Lifting the conductor's hat, I uncovered a photograph depicting the pavilion alive with movement, figures frozen in the act of joyous revelry. As night deepened, I realized the park existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, a realm where the past and present intertwined seamlessly. With the first light of dawn, the beacon dimmed, returning to its dormant state, leaving me with a sense of wonder and curiosity. Now I find myself drawn back to the park, searching for glimpses of that mysterious light on certain ethereal evenings. The enigma of that night remains with me, a gentle reminder that reality holds hidden depths for those brave enough to follow the unexplained into the unknown, where layers of existence wait patiently to be revealed. Story 12. On a clear morning, an unmarked package mysteriously appeared on my doorstep. It was wrapped in aged, yellowed newspaper clippings and tied with rough twine. Amidst the faded headlines and old images, a small label with my name written in elegant cursive caught my eye. The package carried a peculiar scent, a blend of musty paper and a faint hint of metal, almost as if it had traversed through time and space. My heart raced with a mix of apprehension and intrigue as I gingerly unwrapped it. The stillness of the morning was only interrupted by the gentle rustle of autumn leaves as I untangled the knots. A delicate frost covered the ground, creating a soft, icy carpet under my feet. Surprisingly, the package felt warm in my hands, a stark contrast to the chilly air around me. As I unraveled the twine, my fingertips brushed over fragments of news stories from bygone eras. Within the layers of yellowed paper, I uncovered a small wooden box crafted from dark, rich wood. Its surface was smooth to the touch, polished by time, adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to shift and morph when viewed from different angles. Despite its petite size, the box felt weightier than expected, and a subtle vibration pulsed from within, so faint that I questioned if it was real. A brass latch secured the lid, embellished with minuscule symbols etched into its surface, resembling musical notes, yet unfamiliar in their arrangement. Running my thumb over them, a distant melody, reminiscent of a forgotten lullaby, seemed to echo in the air. Settling into my reading chair, the house creaked around me, casting dancing shadows on the walls as I cradled the box in my lap. The morning light painted intricate patterns, and I noticed the shadows converging towards the box, twisting in defiance of nature's laws. An aura of anticipation enveloped the room, laden with the weight of untold tales. With trembling hands, I unclasped the latch. It moved silently, though I felt a resistance, as if the very air had thickened. The lid opened with a sigh, unveiling a collection of items that left me breathless. A weathered photograph portraying a familiar yet subtly altered scene caught my attention. It depicted a room resembling my study, yet subtly different in ways that eluded definition. Beneath the photograph lay a letter penned in the same precise cursive as my name on the package. The paper, thick and textured, exuded a faint scent of lavender mingled with an ancient essence. The ink on the page shimmered as I read the words that slowly revealed a cryptic message. My dearest friend, when you receive this, we will have met in a realm where time dances in circles. The treasures within this box belong to a future that is yet to unfold, memories waiting to be woven, and a bond that transcends the constraints of linear time. While the letter beckoned, a pocket watch nestled in velvet at the box's base captured my gaze. Its face bore an unusual spiral arrangement of numbers, defying conventional timekeeping. The hands moved in a mesmerizing rhythm, advancing and reversing in a dance beyond comprehension. As the day shifted into afternoon, I became engrossed in examining each item. A peculiar key of unfamiliar metal, a leather-bound journal filled with my own script yet foreign to my memory, and a single dried bloom preserving the essence of a summer long gone. In the midst of my exploration, I noticed a peculiar phenomenon with the discarded newspaper wrapping. The headlines and dates seemed to shift when out of direct sight, displaying events both past and future, intertwining reality and fiction. Some articles foretold occurrences yet to transpire, while others chronicled histories unlearned. The letter's closing words echoed in my mind, urging patience in unraveling the enigma presented before me. The boundary between past and future blurred, akin to water meandering in multiple directions simultaneously. Hours slipped away as I delved into the letter, scrutinizing each item and transcribing my reflections in a fresh journal. The writer seemed privy to intimate facets of my life, articulating thoughts unshared with any soul. They spoke of dialogues to come, of shared moments untold, of choices awaiting my hand. With the encroaching evening, a revelation dawned as the items within the box seemed to arrange themselves in a predetermined sequence without my intervention. The latch closed with a muffled click, resonating like a tuning fork attuned to the cadence of time itself. Night descended beyond my windows, casting shadows that whispered of mysteries yet unraveled. The box, now a fixture on my desk, served as a reminder that reality was a tapestry woven with threads of ambiguity. In the hush before dawn, I sometimes caught a soft hum emanating from the box, harmonizing with the hidden frequencies of the cosmos. And on occasion, while sifting through my correspondence, letters inscribed in that familiar script arrived, bearing postmarks from dates yet to dawn. Story 13. Late one stormy night, as the rain whispered against the window panes, I found myself in my study, a book in hand. In the quiet of the room, an unlit candle on the table caught my attention as it began to emit a soft, steady glow. The light danced in harmony with the distant thunder, filling the space with a warm radiance that seemed to defy explanation. A hint of melted wax mingled with an otherworldly essence, stirring a sense of curiosity within me. What hidden power lay within this silent beacon? The shadows played across the pages of my old leather-bound book, and the rain outside provided a gentle symphony, lulling me into a state of peaceful wonder. Leaning forward in my grandfather's antique reading chair, I observed the peculiar light more closely. The candle itself appeared ordinary, a simple white pillar acquired from a nearby shop. Yet now it exuded a mesmerizing glow, akin to moonlight filtering through morning mist. Its pulsing rhythm matched the beat of my own heart, creating a timeless moment where the world outside seemed to fade away. The creaks of the house, the ticking of the grandfather clock, all softened in the presence of this mystical illumination. Shapes began to form on the walls, not random flickers, but deliberate patterns that shifted like elusive memories. The room's temperature subtly changed, the air thickening with untold tales waiting to unfold. Light curves caressed my desk, tracing the outlines of ancient tomes and glistening on brass handles. A fragrance of vanilla and old parchment enveloped me, each breath revealing new layers of a captivating sensory experience. As night deepened, objects in the room responded to the candle's presence. The crystal paperweight refracted light, casting delicate rainbows that danced above. Shadows from my fountain pens seemed to form intricate symbols, hinting at unseen messages. The gentle pulsing of the light hinted at hidden shapes, familiar yet just beyond reach, like memories playing in reverse. Compelled to capture this extraordinary moment, I reached for my journal. The ink shimmered on the page, each word holding a depth I had not noticed before. Hours slipped by in this silent communion with the inexplicable, the candle's glow unwavering in its quiet vigil. A sense of ethereal connection enveloped me, as if I too were part of this mystical display. As dawn approached, a subtle shift occurred in the light. The candle's glow melded with the soft morning rays, blending seamlessly with the promise of a new day. The air carried a mix of fresh beginnings and lingering mysteries, a delicate balance of night and day. When the sun finally rose, the candle's light merged with the natural illumination, leaving behind only a faint scent and the words in my journal to mark the night's events. I keep that candle on my desk to this day, though its mysterious properties have never resurfaced. On quiet evenings when the rain returns, a hint of that otherworldly scent fills the air, thick with the potential for magic. In those moments I sit in my grandfather's chair, waiting in hopeful anticipation, wondering if the candle will once again share its silent story with me. Story 14. While exploring the dusty depths of the attic, I stumbled upon a forgotten treasure hidden behind a weathered trunk, a canvas shrouded in mystery and intrigue. The painting, though incomplete, depicted a figure caught in a moment of metamorphosis, a play of light and shadow that stirred a sense of déjà vu within me. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and memories long faded, creating an atmosphere of quiet contemplation. Seated on a worn wooden chair, I gazed at the painting as if under a spell, mesmerized by the delicate strokes that seemed to whisper untold stories. The portrait exuded a strange energy, its edges blending into the raw canvas like watercolors bleeding into parchment, blurring the lines between reality and imagination. The face on the canvas was a paradox, both vividly detailed and shrouded in mystery, with some features sharp and clear, while others melted into obscurity, as if the artist had been interrupted in the act of creation. The ancient house creaked and groaned around me, a comforting symphony that accompanied my deep dive into the enigmatic artwork. My fingers traced the weathered frame, feeling the history etched into its grain, a silent witness to years gone by. The eyes of the portrait held me captive, their intricate details seeming to gaze into the depths of my soul, beckoning me to unravel their secrets. As the day waned and shadows lengthened, the quality of light in the attic shifted, casting a golden glow that lent an ethereal quality to the scene. The onset of evening brought with it a chill in the air, carrying the fragrance of autumn through the cracks in the window frame. Lost in a trance, I found myself conversing with the silent figure on the canvas, sharing whispered confidences as though confiding in an old friend. In the dimming light, a peculiar phenomenon caught my eye. The brushstrokes of the painting seemed to dance and shift, revealing different interpretations depending on the angle of view. The unfinished portions tantalized with hints of emotion, at times evoking a smile, at others a tinge of sorrow. Time seemed suspended in that attic sanctuary, hours slipping away unnoticed as I delved deeper into the mysteries of the portrait. A faded inscription on the back of the canvas caught my attention. "Remember, the light changes everything." The words, written in a dreamlike script, resonated with a hidden truth that eluded my grasp. With each passing moment, a profound connection blossomed between me and the unknown artist, as if our destinies were intertwined through the unfinished masterpiece. Drawing from the house's trove of forgotten relics, I brought journals and photographs to the attic, laying them out around the portrait in a silent attempt to unravel its secrets. Yet the enigmatic figure remained elusive, a puzzle with missing pieces that teased my curiosity. The ancient timbers whispered cryptic messages, their language a cryptic code that begged for deciphering. On restless nights, I sought solace in the attic's embrace, the moonlight casting a ghostly glow upon the canvas, illuminating its hidden depths. In those hushed moments, I fancied I could hear soft murmurs emanating from the unfinished edges, a melodic hum that stirred memories of long-forgotten lullabies. Gradually, the portrait began to shift in my perception, its features taking on new dimensions that mirrored my innermost thoughts and emotions. The eyes, so alive and expressive, seemed to mirror my own shifting moods, reflecting the turmoil and tranquility of my soul. In moments of peace, they gazed outward, mirroring the starlit sky beyond the window. During storms, they turned inward, pondering mysteries that echoed my unspoken fears and desires. The painting became a mirror of my inner world, a reflection of the hidden depths that lay dormant within. As the seasons changed outside the attic window, a theory took root in my mind. The portrait's incompleteness was not a flaw, but a deliberate choice, a testament to the artist's wisdom. By leaving the painting unfinished, the artist invited endless interpretations, allowing the figure to evolve with each viewing, each shift of light, each change in perspective. The mystery of its origin became secondary to the profound connection it forged with my own existence. I assumed the role of guardian of the unfinished portrait, a custodian of its ever-changing narrative that transcended time and space. The attic became a sanctuary where the boundaries between observer and observed blurred, where the silent dialogue between artist and viewer unfolded in whispers and shadows. Years passed, yet my fascination with the enigmatic artwork never waned, drawing me back to its side time and again. Armed with a small notebook, I chronicled the subtle nuances of the painting, the play of light, the shifting shadows, the elusive expressions that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. But more than documenting its physical features, I treasured the silent communion we shared, a bond woven through shared silences and unspoken truths. The portrait remained a perpetual enigma, a source of solace and mystery that enriched my life in ways I couldn't fully articulate. In its unfinished state, the painting found its perfect completion, evolving and transforming with each passing day, a testament to the ever-changing nature of existence. The mystery it embodied was not meant to be unraveled but experienced, a journey of quiet introspection in the soft glow of the attic's timeless embrace. And so, I continue to climb the narrow stairs, drawn to the unfinished portrait like a moth to flame, eager to lose myself once more in its silent symphony of light and shadow. Story 15. On a chilly morning, I stirred from my slumber to find my window veiled in mist. As I brushed away the condensation, an intricate sketch materialized on the glass before me. The drawing depicted a solitary figure standing in a hazy landscape, and to my amazement, the features bore a striking resemblance to my own. A faint scent of aged charcoal and paper lingered in the air, adding a touch of nostalgia to the moment. Clad in my nightclothes, I gazed at the scene unfolding before me, the soft winter light filtering through the fogged glass, casting ethereal shadows across my bedroom floor. The familiar creak of the wooden floorboards beneath my feet seemed to hold a new, mysterious tune in the stillness of the morning. The silence enveloped me like a cozy quilt, muffling the world outside. My fingertips delicately traced the outline of the figure in the sketch, sensing the cool smoothness of the glass beneath them. It became apparent that the condensation had not formed by chance. The lines were too deliberate, too purposeful. In the background of the drawing, skeletal trees stretched towards a clouded sky, their branches weaving intricate patterns that seemed to dance when my gaze shifted away. The more I studied the sketch, the more intricacies revealed themselves. The figure, a mirror image of myself, stood in front of an ornate Victorian mirror, its frame adorned with elaborate carvings. However, in the mirror's reflection, the figure was turned away, peering into a seemingly endless depth that defied logic for a mere window sketch. A gentle breeze whispered through the gap beneath my bedroom door, carrying with it the subtle fragrance of rain-soaked earth and autumn leaves, a paradoxical scent for the winter season. The distant tinkling of wind chimes drifted in, their melodic tune both soothing and subtly discordant, like a melody from a forgotten dream. Intrigued, I felt compelled to explore further and made my way to my desk where my old sketchbooks resided. Flipping through the pages, I stumbled upon a peculiar discovery: drawings I had no recollection of creating. Each depiction showcased the same figure, the same mirror, but from varying perspectives and distances. The sketches were dated back several weeks, inscribed in handwriting that bore a striking resemblance to my own, yet somehow different. The quality of light in the room seemed to shift, casting a pearly luminescence that emanated from the very window where the mysterious drawing took form. As if guided by an unseen force, the sketch on the glass grew more defined, as if brought to life by an invisible artist. I could almost hear the faint scratch of a pencil against the glass, though no movement was visible to the naked eye. Peering at my reflection, superimposed on the drawing, I noticed a peculiar detail. My movements were mirrored, yet opposite, as if in a mesmerizing dance with my doppelganger. Gradually, a realization dawned on me that the sketch was not merely a piece of art, but a portal of sorts, beckoning me towards a revelation. The figure, whom I had assumed to be myself, was attempting to convey a message, to unveil a hidden truth. With each breath I exhaled, the glass fogged slightly, adding depth to the drawing rather than obliterating it, creating a multi-dimensional tableau before my eyes. The wind chime's song grew more distinct, and a familiar lullaby hummed by my grandmother echoed in the background, stirring memories long forgotten. Lost in contemplation, time seemed to ebb and flow in a surreal cadence as I stood transfixed by the evolving scene before me. The room's temperature subtly shifted, a gentle flux that mimicked the ebb and flow of consciousness, lulling me into a tranquil state of introspection. Driven by an inexplicable impulse, I retrieved my grandmother's antique wooden art box from the depths of my closet. Nestled within its confines, beneath layers of dried paint tubes and weathered brushes, rested a small journal that had eluded my notice until now. Within its pages, sketches akin to the one etched on my window glass adorned the sheets, accompanied by cryptic notes scribed in my grandmother's elegant hand. The passages spoke of doorways between worlds and the enigmatic art of mirror walking, igniting a spark of understanding within me. As the day unfolded, I remained ensconced in my room, oscillating between studying the window sketch and perusing my grandmother's journal. The drawing remained unchanged, a frozen moment suspended in time, inviting contemplation and introspection. I came to realize that certain enigmas were not meant to be hastily unraveled, but rather embraced, absorbed, and assimilated like a second skin. In the softening glow of evening, I embarked on sketching in my own journal, transcribing the awe-inspiring experience that had unfolded before me. The scratch of pencil against paper mirrored the ethereal sounds that had resonated on the glass that morning, bridging the gap between reality and the unknown. I understood that the dawn of the following day would unveil a clear window, yet within me, a transformation had taken root, altering the fabric of my perception. The wind chimes continued their haunting melody, and in the early hours of the morning, when condensation veiled my window once more, wisps of new sketches began to form, beckoning towards undiscovered realms. But it was that initial drawing, that initial glimpse through the looking glass, that remained etched in my memory as a gentle reminder that the boundary between the ordinary and the extraordinary is as delicate as a frost-kissed pane of glass. Story 16. The old shop exuded a scent of ancient paper and weathered wood, drawing me in with its mysterious allure. Tracing my fingertips along the dusty spines of forgotten books, one particular tome beckoned me closer. Its cracked leather cover whispered of untold secrets waiting to be unveiled. With a racing heart, I dared to open it, only to find my own name inscribed on the first page in a handwriting foreign to me. Outside, the soft pitter-patter of rain against the windows provided a soothing backdrop, as if nature itself was weaving a tranquil melody to accompany my discovery. Each step I took on the creaking wooden floor brought me closer to a worn leather armchair bathed in the warm glow of a small reading lamp. Nestling into its familiar embrace, I felt a sense of comfort wash over me, cocooning me in a world of forgotten tales. The diary, unexpectedly warm to the touch, seemed to have been awaiting my arrival. My fingers danced over the faded ink, tracing the letters that seemed to blur into the paper, like whispers yearning to be heard. The first entry, dated decades past, bore a striking resemblance to my own handwriting, the curves, the slant, all eerily similar. In the quiet embrace of the shop, I delved into the musings of the diary's author, memories intertwined with moments, creating a tapestry of experiences that transcended time and space. The rain outside shifted from a gentle tapping to a continuous murmur, merging seamlessly with the writer's words, blurring the line between reality and fiction. The narrative wove tales of inexplicable occurrences, footsteps echoing in empty rooms, reflections that defied logic, and unseen presences that lingered in the shadows. Yet there was no fear in these words, only a profound sense of wonder at the mysteries of existence. Time, the author mused, was not a linear path, but a complex tapestry of interconnected moments. With each turn of a page, the rain symphony outside harmonized with the soft rustle of paper, creating a melodic backdrop to the writer's contemplations. Family ties that spanned generations, shared memories that flowed like rivers between souls. The diary spoke of connections that surpassed understanding, hinting at a web of interwoven lives. As twilight descended upon the shop, shadows danced between the shelves, casting a veil of enchantment over the space. The rain persisted, a constant companion in the evolving narrative of the diary. Dreams melded with reality, blurring the boundaries of perception and challenging the confines of the known. Hours slipped by unnoticed as I became lost in the labyrinth of words, drifting into a realm where time held no sway. A sense of peace settled over me, wrapping me in a blanket of tranquility. When darkness finally enveloped the room, I closed the diary, feeling the warmth of its leather cover against my palms. The rain's gentle lullaby continued outside, a reminder of the beauty found in uncertainty. Some mysteries, I realized, were not meant to be solved, but embraced. The diary, a bridge between the tangible and the intangible, invited me to surrender to the enigmatic dance of existence, guiding me into a realm of quiet reflection and serene acceptance. Story 17. The hotel's sign shimmered with a gentle, almost ethereal light on that misty night. The doorman greeted me with a subtle smile, and the fragrance of aged wood and wax enveloped me as I stepped into the lobby. My room, though plain, offered a cozy respite. Drained from my travels, I drifted off to sleep almost instantly. The following morning, I descended to the reception area, only to find an empty lot in place of the Grand Hotel. Standing there, my travel bag hanging limply, I watched the overgrown grass sway in the morning breeze. The air was cool, carrying the scent of dew and wild flowers, a stark contrast to the luxurious ambiance of the night before. My mind struggled to reconcile the vivid memories from the previous night with the reality before me. Every detail remained crystal clear in my mind, the weight and chill of the antique brass key in my hand, the silence of my footsteps on the deep burgundy carpet as I made my way to room 247, the intricate design of pale golden leaves on the hallway wallpaper dancing in the warm light. I traced the spot on my wrist where it had rested on the mahogany desk while signing the guest register. The leather-bound book felt substantial, its pages thick and cream-colored. The ink flowed elegantly from the fountain pen as I inscribed my name. I can still picture the doorman's long, pale fingers as he inspected my signature. The room itself exuded understated comfort, with velvet curtains framing tall windows overlooking a courtyard garden. The scent of lavender lingered on the bed linens, and a single rose graced the bedside table. The vintage radiator clicked softly, and an old clock on the mantelpiece ticked gently. But what lingers most in my memory is the haunting music. A faint piano melody had accompanied my descent into slumber, unfamiliar yet achingly nostalgic. The soft notes lingered in the air, teasing the edges of my consciousness, a melody I can never quite grasp but can always hear in my mind. I've spent hours questioning my sanity, retracing my steps from that enigmatic evening. The taxi driver who brought me seemed unremarkable, yet I can't recall paying him. The street, now bathed in morning light, appears both familiar and alien. The buildings on either side of the vacant lot stand as sentinels, as if they had always bordered an empty space. The key, engraved with the number 247, remains a tangible reminder of that inexplicable night. Its presence in my pocket defies reason, a symbol of a reality that seems to have dissolved with the morning sun. Local inquiries yield no answers. No one remembers a hotel at that location, not even a trace in historical records. It's as if the hotel existed solely in my memory, a figment of a dream too vivid to dismiss. Yet each night, as I close my eyes, the aroma of polished wood and leather fills my senses. In that fleeting moment between wakefulness and sleep, distant piano notes drift through my mind, carrying a message just beyond reach. The key now sits on my bedside table, a silent witness to a night lost in the folds of time. Sometimes, in the dead of night, it seems to gleam with an inner light, a flicker of remembrance from the lock it once opened. I contemplate discarding it, yet an unseen force stays my hand. Perhaps on a misty evening I'll turn a corner and behold that soft glowing sign once more. Perhaps the doorman will stand there, his knowing smile intact, ready to usher me back into that elusive realm. Until that moment, I hold on to the key, pondering the hotel that vanished with the dawn, the music that echoes only in my mind, and the other guests who may still carry their brass keys to rooms lost to time. Story 18. In the beginning, I thought I was just forgetful. Notes scattered around my home, reminders of mundane tasks, buy milk, lock the door. They seemed innocent, things I might have written myself in a moment of absent-mindedness. But then, one morning, a note awaited me on my pillow. Wake up, he's inside. The soft morning light danced through my curtains, painting gentle shadows on my bedroom walls. I held the note delicately between my fingers, sensing its worn texture, as if it had a story of its own. The handwriting, eerily similar to mine, down to the curves of the letters. I've always been alone in this old house, a sanctuary of creaking floors and whispered secrets. The house and I shared a silent understanding, a harmony of sounds and shadows. But recently a subtle shift had unsettled our tranquility. The notes began appearing 3 weeks ago, subtle nudges disguised as reminders. I brushed them off initially, chalking them up to fatigue from late-night writing sessions. Each morning brought a new note in unexpected places, by the coffee maker, on the bathroom mirror, near my keys. They evolved from generic prompts to personal directives, as if tailored to my daily rituals. Subtle changes crept into my surroundings. Books shifted on shelves, a chair still warm as if recently occupied. Familiar scents wafted through the air, triggering memories long dormant. The ticking of a grandfather clock became my companion as I unraveled the mystery within my home. I started documenting each note, each minor change, in a journal. The handwriting seemed to morph slightly with each entry, a cryptic dance of familiarity and uncertainty. One evening, bathed in the amber glow of dusk, I studied the notes spread across my dining table. They were penned on different papers, yet all carried a weight of recognition. Patterns emerged in their timing, appearing in the hushed moments between night and dawn. The house responded to my awareness, temperature shifts and lingering reflections hinting at a presence just beyond reach. Conversations with empty rooms became the norm. The notes are silent dialogue. Last night I took a leap of faith and left a note of my own. "Who are you?" I asked. Today, a new message greeted me in that all too familiar handwriting. "You know who I am. You've always known." As twilight descends and shadows lengthen, a realization dawns upon me. The notes, the intimate knowledge, the gentle guidance, they all lead me to a truth I've been avoiding. Perhaps this unseen companion is not a stranger but a forgotten part of myself, waiting to be rediscovered. The sun bids farewell, casting long shadows as the house whispers its ancient tales. Another note materializes beside me, bearing a message I did not witness being written. "Time to remember," it whispers. And in this moment, as I sit in the growing darkness, I am ready to listen. Story 19. The soft murmur of the vintage radio filled the hush of my solitary abode. It sat untouched for years, yet there it was, emanating a gentle melody in the muted glow. As I moved to silence it, a voice materialized. A hushed, familiar voice, uttering words known only to me. The radio rested on my grandmother's cherished antique table, its polished wood reflecting the warm radiance of my reading light. The night had been tranquil until then, with only the soothing patter of raindrops against my windows composing a serene backdrop to my solitude. Nestled with a book, cocooned in the comforting embrace of my cherished blanket, the tranquility shattered with the initial crackle of static. Initially, I pondered if I had inadvertently nudged the table, activating the ancient contraption. Yet, I knew it couldn't be. The radio had been dormant since my grandmother's departure 5 years past. It remained a keepsake, a memento of countless evenings from my youth spent listening to melodies while she knitted in her favorite chair. The voice materialized, cutting through the static like a figure emerging from mist. "I recall the butterfly," it murmured, almost imperceptible. My breath hitched. The butterfly, a secret shared only with my grandmother. A fragile blue morpho that had alighted on my palm during her funeral. I had safeguarded that moment, never revealing how it lingered, motionless, until the final prayer was intoned. The rain continued its gentle serenade against the panes as I sat motionless, fearing any disruption might rupture the strange enchantment enveloping my dwelling. The voice persisted, navigating through patches of static. "You still safeguard the origami birds in the shoebox beneath your bed." Another secret, the paper cranes she had taught me to fashion, each one enfolding a whispered desire inscribed in pencil. I had kept them hidden from all eyes. The soft radiance of my lamp seemed to pulsate in harmony with the static, casting dancing shadows upon the radio's wooden facade. A fragrance of dried lavender and aged books wafted through the air, my grandmother's signature scent. The room's temperature shifted, a pleasant coolness akin to the morning breeze in her garden where we once sat. The voice unraveled more reminiscences. The concealed key beneath the loose brick in her garden wall, the cryptic recipe for her blackberry tea inscribed in code within her journal, her clandestine humming of Moon River when she believed herself unobserved. Each disclosure washed over me like a tender tide, unearthing memories nestled in the quietest recesses of my consciousness. I found myself sinking deeper into my chair, trepidation yielding to a profound tranquility. The static intervals between phrases melded into a soothing white noise, akin to oceanic waves or wind rustling through trees. My grandmother's voice, acknowledged now as hers, persisted in its gentle soliloquy, every utterance laden with shared histories. Time seemed to warp as I listened, the rain outside assuming a distant melody harmonizing with the radio's voice. Though weariness tugged at my eyelids, I resisted slumber, fearful of missing a single syllable. The voice recounted summer afternoons in her garden, secret trails in the woods behind her home, narratives left unfinished. As night deepened, the voice waned, entwining once more with the static. I yearned to reach out, to pose the unspoken queries, yet an invisible force restrained me. Perchance, certain enigmas are destined to linger as such, enigmas. The concluding words surfaced clearly, akin to moonbeams piercing clouds. The finest secrets are those that remind us we are never truly alone. Subsequently, the static dissolved into silence, leaving solely the cadence of rainfall and my subdued respiration. Never again did I activate the radio post at nocturnal encounter. Yet, on occasions when the rain descends just so, and the twilight illuminates the radio's wood grain, I swear I detect the faintest whisper of static. And in those fleeting moments, I recollect that certain secrets are meant to be safeguarded, while others discover their own method of revelation. Story 20. In the old house of my childhood, surrounded by the scent of aged wood and faded memories, I found myself on a journey through time. As I wandered through the dimly lit parlor adorned with portraits of ancestors, a figure clothed in period attire appeared before me. His eyes held a striking resemblance to mine, and in a voice that exuded calm confidence, he introduced himself as my other self. The stillness of the house seemed to amplify the weight of untold secrets and the invisible threads that bound our destinies together. Soft afternoon light filtered through dusty windows, casting delicate shadows that danced upon the worn floorboards. Each step I took reignited memories that floated like golden motes in the sunlit air. The familiar creak of the wooden stairs beneath my feet whispered of bygone days, evoking a sense of nostalgia that tingled in my bones. The parlor, where generations of my family had gathered, retained an air of elegance despite being draped in sheets and dust. Tracing my fingers along the intricate carvings of the chair rails, I felt the warmth of the wood beneath my touch, connecting me to the past. The portraits on the walls observed me with gentle curiosity, their faces bearing the familiar features passed down through generations. The man who stood before me seemed to have always been there, a silent guardian from another era. His attire spoke of a time long past, but it was his face that held a mirror to my soul. His eyes, the same shade of gray as mine, gazed back with a knowing familiarity, as if reflecting the essence of who I once was. "I've been waiting," he said, his voice a haunting echo of my own, tinged with an accent of yesteryears. "I've always been here in some form or another." His presence brought not fear, but a profound sense of recognition, as if reuniting with a lost part of myself. As the room held its breath, suspended in a timeless moment, we sat in matching wingback chairs, our conversation flowing effortlessly like a tranquil stream. He spoke of memories that felt both foreign and intimately familiar, weaving together a tapestry of shared experiences that transcended time. In the shifting light of dusk, the room transformed, the portraits morphing subtly with each passing glance, revealing different facets of our intertwined stories. "We are all connected here," he whispered, gesturing to the space around us, past and present intertwined, blurring the lines between memory and reality. As night descended and shadows lengthened, the darkness enveloped us in a cocoon of understanding and acceptance. The stranger, my other self, began to fade into the obscurity of night, his presence merging with the comforting darkness that surrounded us. "Remember," his voice echoed from the depths of the room, "you are not defined by a single moment in time. You are a tapestry of past, present, and future selves, woven together by the threads of memory." And with that enigmatic message, he melted into the shadows, leaving behind a profound sense of unity and connection. Leaving the parlor under the veil of night, I felt the gentle gaze of the portraits follow me, their eyes now reflecting not just my past, but the infinite possibilities of my being. Though I never encountered my other self in such clarity again, his essence lingered in the whispers of the house, in the settling sounds and gentle breezes that carried echoes of our shared existence. In the quiet moments of solitude within those timeless walls, I felt the presence of all who had come before me, all who would follow, and the eternal bond that united us in a dance of past, present, and future. The house whispered its secrets, the walls reverberating with the stories of those who had lived within them, reminding me that we are all but threads in the intricate tapestry of time, woven together in the eternal embrace of a place where memories transcend the boundaries of reality. Story 21. In the depths of a rainy night, I found myself nestled in my study, enveloped by the soothing symphony of raindrops tapping against the window panes. Amidst the tranquil ambience, a soft, mystical melody began to weave its way through the silence, delicate notes dancing in the air, carrying a blend of nostalgia and subtle unease. It was as though the music emerged from the very shadows, beckoning me to uncover long-concealed secrets. The antique grandfather clock in the corner dutifully marked the passage of time, with its gentle ticking, the pendulum swaying in perfect harmony with the ethereal tune that now filled the room. The warm glow of my reading lamp cast a soft aura of amber light around me, while the rest of the study remained embraced by a comforting darkness. With closed eyes, I surrendered myself to the enchanting melody, allowing it to permeate every corner of my consciousness. The music ebbed and flowed like a stream, sometimes seeming to emanate from behind me, other times from the corridor beyond the study door. Each note carried whispers of a half-forgotten memory, akin to a dream struggling to resurface from the depths of the mind. The rain continued its gentle serenade on the windows, harmonizing with the mysterious music, creating a natural melody of its own. I found myself swaying slightly in my leather armchair, fingers lightly drumming against the wooden armrest in sync with the unfamiliar rhythm. The melody possessed an otherworldly quality, as if it was played on instruments existing between the realms of slumber and wakefulness. A subtle shift in the atmosphere drew my gaze to the ancient mirror hanging above the fireplace. Through half-closed lids, I observed the glass rippling, mirroring a distorted version of the room around me. Shadows danced differently, and the light pulsated in time with the haunting music. The clock chimed midnight, its tones melding seamlessly with the mysterious melody, creating harmonies that defied logic. As the night deepened, subtle changes unfolded in the familiar study. Books leaned toward the source of the music on their shelves, their pages rustling without a breath of wind. Shadows in the room seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in rhythm with the evocative tune. Yet rather than fear, I embraced a profound sense of tranquility, sinking into a state of serene contemplation. Amidst the shifting patterns of the melody, fragments of forgotten lullabies and unfamiliar sounds intertwined, each note telling a story of paths untaken and memories obscured. The warm light of the reading lamp took on a new essence, its glow bending and flowing like liquid gold. Shapes flickered within its radiance, ethereal figures dancing, or mere illusions cast by the interplay of light and shadow. The boundary between reality and imagination blurred, my chair feeling simultaneously solid and weightless, as if carried by a gentle current of sound. The melody became an enigma, a presence as intrinsic as breath, yet as enigmatic as the cosmos. I pondered whether I had always been here, listening to this unearthly music, and if everything else had been but a dream. The rain's rhythm shifted subtly, each droplet falling in harmony with the mystical tune, weaving a symphony that transcended ordinary sounds. A profound peace enveloped me, hinting at unfathomable mysteries lurking beneath the surface. Throughout the night, I realized that certain questions are better left unanswered, certain mysteries left to their enigmatic allure. As dawn broke, the melody gracefully melded with the natural sounds of a new day, the rain's song replaced by a fresh, invigorating scent that wafted through the study. The grandfather clock ticked steadily, the mirror reflected reality, and the books stood aligned on their shelves. Yet a subtle transformation had taken root within me. In the tranquil moments between dusk and dawn, whispers of that haunting melody still lingered at the edge of my senses, akin to a half-remembered dream, a poignant reminder of the unseen songs that dwell between reality and imagination, patiently awaiting a listener. Story 22. In a secluded corner of the local library, I stumbled upon a weathered leather-bound book that seemed to beckon me with whispered secrets. As I delicately turned its fragile pages, a folded piece of paper drifted to the ground, unveiling an intricately drawn map adorned with enigmatic symbols. The scent of age and ink wafted from the paper, filling the air with a sense of history and mystery. The map portrayed winding paths and unfamiliar landmarks, hinting at a world obscured by the mists of time. Nestling into a plush armchair nearby, the soft velvet caressed me as I basked in the gentle afternoon light filtering through tall windows, casting ethereal shadows over the ancient parchment. Each line on the map was etched with precision, every stroke purposeful and laden with meaning. Strange symbols adorned the margins, resembling cryptic languages from ages long past, foreign to my scholarly pursuits. The soft patter of rain against the windows created a hypnotic melody, harmonizing with the contemplative ambiance of my discovery. Tracing the pathways with my fingertip, I noticed a peculiar warmth emanating from the paper, and the ink seemed to shimmer faintly in the dim light. The longer I gazed upon it, the more I realized that the map's elements shifted subtly when viewed from different angles, as if teasing hidden truths. In the library's corner, an ancient grandfather clock told the hours with a melodic resonance, each chime causing the symbols on the map to pulse with a soft, mystical glow. Intrigued, I delved deeper into the map's enigmas, observing how the paths converged towards a central point marked by an elaborate compass rose. Outside, the rain intensified, and the library's archaic heating system responded with gentle creaks and sighs, blending into a melodic symphony of exploration. As I continued my scrutiny of the map, I discerned that some symbols mirrored those carved into the stone archways of the library. Symbols I had previously dismissed as mere decoration. Quietly rising, I ventured into the library's labyrinthine passages, the warm paper guiding my steps with a subtle heat that intensified in certain directions. The usual sounds of the library, rustling pages, hushed footsteps, distant bookshelves shuffling, faded into an eerie, anticipatory silence. My journey led me to an uncharted section of the library, concealed behind rows of reference tomes. The woodwork bore the same symbols as the map, intricately carved into the moldings, while the air carried a weighty blend of aged paper and a hint of summer rain mingled with distant thunder. As evening descended, the library lights brightened automatically. Yet in this secluded nook, the illumination twisted around the shelves, casting shadows that danced in defiance of the fixed positions of the bookcases. The map in my grasp radiated warmth, and at certain angles, hidden lines etched in invisible ink were revealed. Entranced, I traced these concealed paths with my fingertip, each stroke altering the ambient temperature and causing the shadows to shift in mesmerizing ways under the steady light above. The grandfather clock's chimes reached me like distorted echoes through a watery veil, distorting time and reality. What had begun as a leisurely afternoon of exploration had transformed into a mysterious odyssey. The map seemed to unveil not only physical routes through the library, but also temporal passages through history itself. Portions of the paper, when viewed in the shifting light, offered fleeting glimpses of the library as it might have existed in bygone eras. As the library neared closing time, I carefully folded the map and returned it to its rightful place within the book, marking the page with a library slip. The book's cover bore a single symbol, mirroring the compass rose from the map. Curious, I attempted to check out the book, but the librarian's computer yielded no record of its existence within the library's system. Since that fateful day, I have frequented the library during rainy afternoons when the light weaves through the windows just so. Sometimes, the book mysteriously appears in different locations, as though it wanders through the shelves of its own accord. The map continues to unveil new paths and symbols, and I have noticed other patrons engrossed in similar books, each containing maps of their own, yet our gazes never meet. The library has transformed into a realm of endless possibilities for me, transcending its role as a mere repository of knowledge. On quiet evenings, with rain tapping against the windows and the grandfather clock weaving its mysterious melody, I unfurl the map and embark on a journey guided by its warming touch. Each turn of a page promises a new discovery, hinting at a vast and wondrous understanding waiting to be unveiled. Perhaps the true enigma lies not in the destinations the map reveals, but in the ethereal journey it invites us to undertake. A voyage through the silent spaces between moments, where time flows like ink on ancient parchment, and where every shadow conceals the promise of a hidden world yearning to be unearthed. Story 23, Inexplicable Whispers of the Theater. Drawn by an inexplicable urge to explore, I found myself wandering into an old theater on the outskirts of town, its once grand splendor now faded into a quiet decay. The ornate balconies and plush velvet seats spoke of eras long past where applause and drama filled the air. As I stepped onto the creaking stage, a soft, haunting voice drifted to my ears, reciting lines steeped in sorrow and yearning. The words echoed through the weathered walls, blending with the musty aroma of aged curtains and forgotten dreams, casting doubt on whether the theater was truly deserted. A gentle autumn breeze whispered through unseen crevices, creating a delicate symphony of rustling papers and faint murmurs. My footsteps echoed softly on the wooden stage, each plank releasing a sigh beneath my weight. The air held a peculiar density, as if traversing through layers of memories suspended in time. Above me, the grand chandelier hung motionless, its crystals coated in dust, yet occasionally catching glimmers of light seeping through the high windows, casting ethereal patterns that danced along the walls. My curiosity led me to the wing of the stage, where old props lay veiled under sheets resembling gentle waves in the dim light. The voice I had heard seemed to emanate from this direction, though now it lingered as a mere whisper. Among the forgotten set pieces, I stumbled upon an ancient dressing room mirror, its surface clouded with age, yet radiating an otherworldly gleam. As I drew closer, the surrounding temperature dropped, a chill settling in, but not unpleasantly so. The mirror seemed to pulse with a subtle energy, its reflection revealing movements that did not align with my own, like echoes of performers from a distant era still perfecting their art. The voice grew clearer, its melodic tones weaving a tale of tragic romance that was both soothing and melancholic. Time warped within this space, minutes stretching into hours as I delved deeper, uncovering crumbling playbills and costume pieces carrying faint traces of long-forgotten perfumes. The voice continued its gentle soliloquy, guiding me through the forgotten nooks of the theater. In the orchestra pit, ancient sheet music lay scattered across weathered stands, the notes faded yet legible, as if awaiting the return of musicians to breathe life into them once more. As evening approached, the shifting light filtering through the windows cast elongated shadows that seemed to move with purpose across the vacant seats. The voice gained strength, never rising above a hushed murmur. I found myself settling into one of the better-preserved velvet chairs, watching as specks of dust danced in the waning sunlight. The theater seemed to pulsate around me, its walls expanding and contracting with the weight of countless narratives. In that moment of tranquility, I realized that the voice was not directed at any individual. It was the theater itself, reminiscing. Each uttered word carried remnants of performances past, of ovations and tearful farewells, of opening nights and final curtains. The soothing cadence of the voice intertwined these memories into a delicate tapestry, enveloping me in a cocoon of nostalgia. With night's arrival, a new depth infused the voice, resonating from all directions and none, filling the space with a gentle vibration that stirred the air. Though the words grew clearer, their essence remained just beyond reach, akin to grasping at a fading dream upon waking. The chandelier above now caught the moonlight, casting iridescent refractions that danced across the ceiling like ethereal auroras. I drifted on the cusp between wakefulness and slumber, the voice serving as a tranquil lullaby. The line between reality and reverie blurred, and in that twilight awareness, phantom silhouettes of an unseen audience materialized, their presence hinted by the interplay of moonbeams and shadows. They sat in silent reverence, captivated by the voice as much as I was. As night deepened, a profound serenity enveloped the theater. The voice gradually receded, leaving behind a sense of gratitude, as if my presence had acknowledged and validated the myriad tales held within these walls. The theater settled into a quietude, its timbers groaning and sighing like an old companion preparing for slumber. Upon my eventual departure, the voice had become a mere echo, a faint memory lingering in my mind. Yet the theater felt different, more vibrant, despite its abandonment. With each step toward the exit, the aged floorboards protested softly, underscoring the notion that some places never truly empty themselves. Rather, they patiently hold their stories close, awaiting the arrival of a willing listener. Even now, months later, I find myself drawn back to that theater during the nocturnal hours. The voice persists, sometimes just a whisper, a gentle nudge reminding me that behind every curtain and beneath every layer of dust, narratives yearn to be heard by those who pause to listen. The theater endures as a sanctuary, where the boundary between yesteryears and now blurs, and where memories pirouette like dust motes in the moon's glow, immortalized in the soft echoes of that enigmatic voice. Story 24. In the soft golden glow of my bedside lamp, the hallway beyond remained shrouded in darkness. Lying in bed, my gaze fixated on the faint sliver of light seeping under my bedroom door. A shadow glided past, moving with deliberate grace. My breath hitched in my throat. No sound accompanied its passage, no hint of footsteps on the ancient wooden floors. Summoning my courage, I ventured to check, only to find the hallway deserted. That encounter occurred 3 weeks ago, and since then, the shadow has become a constant nocturnal companion. Its presence, though unexplained, has grown familiar to me. While the house's time-worn wooden floors serenade the night with their soft creaks and whispers, the shadow moves in utter silence. Tonight, with raindrops gently tapping on my window and the wind whispering secrets through the trees, I find myself anticipating its return once more. The warm embrace of my bedside lamp envelops me, casting a cozy light that seems to deepen the darkness beyond, imbuing it with an air of enigma. The fragrance of lavender from my diffuser intermingles with the earthy scent of petrichor wafting in through the slightly ajar window. A ritual has formed around these nightly visitations. I brew chamomile tea, letting its sweet floral essence permeate the room as I nestle into bed with a book in hand. The shadow unfailingly makes its appearance between the turning of pages, catching my attention as it glides past the door's threshold. Sometimes it lingers, a fleeting presence, while other times it moves on like a gentle zephyr. What captivates me most is how the shadow seems attuned to my inner state. When anxiety clouds my mind, it moves with a soothing slowness, as if offering solace. On tranquil nights, it drifts by effortlessly, akin to a leaf dancing in an autumn breeze. Despite the mystery shrouding its origin, I harbor no sense of threat in its presence. Recollections surface of my grandmother's tales, stories of houses developing sentience over time, absorbing the emotions and experiences of their inhabitants. Perhaps this shadow is but the house's way of ensuring my well-being as I traverse the borderlands between wakefulness and slumber. The ambience of the house transforms at night. Moonlight bathes the wooden banister in a soft glow, filtering through the skylight above. The grandfather clock's rhythmic ticking resonates through the silent corridors, punctuating the stillness. The very air seems pregnant with potential, heavy with the weight of untold narratives. A deviation from our customary nocturnal ballet unfolds this evening. As I fixate on the space beneath my door, the shadow materializes, yet instead of passing by, it halts. Minutes slip away, marked by the gentle ticking of my bedside clock. The shadow remains motionless, as if in anticipation. Without fully comprehending my impulse, I address it for the first time. "Hello," I murmur, my voice a mere ripple in the night's tranquility. The shadow stirs slightly, and for an ephemeral moment, I sense a form of acknowledgement, akin to a silent nod from an old acquaintance. The atmosphere in my room warms, cocooning me in a reassuring embrace, akin to being swathed in a soft quilt. The flame of my scented candle flickers, untouched by any breeze. Despite having perused numerous accounts of the supernatural, of spirits and unexplained occurrences, none encapsulate this sensation. Absent are the chilling drafts, the foreboding dread, the cryptic inscriptions, or poltergeist antics. Only this gentle presence, this shadow that stands sentinel over my nights. I ponder whether this shadow has always lingered here, unnoticed until now. Could it have watched over former residents of this abode, standing vigil as generations traverse these very chambers? Perhaps it has awaited this moment, yearning for recognition, desiring acceptance as a natural facet of the house's rhythms. As I lie here, witnessing the shadow dissipate like morning mist, a profound serenity envelops me. The rain's soft cadence persists on my window, while the house settles with its familiar groans and whispers. I am cognizant that come tomorrow night, and every night thereafter, my enigmatic companion will return. By daybreak, I shall resume my routine, yet a part of me will remain attuned to the twilight hours, eager for that juncture when I may partake in this silent communion with the nocturnal denizen of my hallway. I have ceased attempting to elucidate this phenomenon to others. How does one articulate a presence that evokes comfort rather than fear, intrigue rather than trepidation? The shadow has seamlessly woven itself into my nightly rituals, akin to my chamomile tea and bedtime reading. As drowsiness tugs at the edges of my awareness and my eyelids grow heavy, I fixate on the slender beam of light beneath my door. The shadow drifts past for a final time, its passage so gentle it could be mistaken for a figment of my imagination. Yet I now comprehend better. Within this dwelling, during the hushed interlude between midnight and dawn, not everything necessitates explication. And so I surrender to slumber, enveloped by the dulcet nocturnal symphony of my abode, secure in the knowledge that my mysterious guardian shall return, gliding noiselessly beneath my door, a soothing presence in the profound hours of night. Story 25. The forest enveloped me in a cocoon of tranquility as the evening sun cast a golden hue over the lush greenery. Each step I took was cushioned by the velvety moss underfoot, whispering ancient secrets with every gentle touch. The air was thick with the fragrance of damp earth and sweet blossoms, a symphony of scents that danced around me, lulling me deeper into the heart of the woods. As the bird's song guided me along the winding path, a subtle shift in the atmosphere signaled a change. The shadows elongated, weaving intricate patterns on the forest floor, beckoning me to explore the newfound ethereal realm I had stumbled upon. The trees towered above me, their bark glistening with an otherworldly sheen that seemed to shift and shimmer with a life of its own. In this enchanted forest, time seemed to lose its grip, meandering like a lazy stream through the dense foliage. The air was alive with a soft mist that draped the surroundings in a mystical glow, like a veil of magic woven by unseen hands. Small stones arranged in cryptic formations whispered of ancient rituals and long-forgotten tales, their enigmatic presence adding to the mystique of the place. The forest throbbed with a subtle energy, a pulsating heartbeat that resonated with my own rhythm. I wandered through clearings where the grass murmured cryptic messages, and where mushrooms formed celestial patterns that mirrored the unseen heavens above. The very fabric of reality seemed to warp and weave around me, blurring the lines between what was real and what was imagined. As I ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, I stumbled upon a stream that defied logic, its clear waters flowing uphill without a reflection to betray its defiance of nature's laws. Strange lights danced beneath the surface, casting an eerie glow that stirred a sense of wonder and curiosity within me. Figures flitted at the edge of my vision, elusive and enigmatic, like phantoms caught in a perpetual dance just beyond reach. The moss at my feet came alive, forming intricate patterns that pulsed with a soft, iridescent light before fading into the shadows. The very essence of the forest seemed to be in flux, a living, breathing entity that responded to my presence with a silent, knowing grace. In a vast clearing, a majestic tree stood sentinel, its branches reaching towards the heavens in a silent plea for understanding. The bark was adorned with cryptic symbols, their meaning elusive yet somehow familiar, like a half-remembered dream that tantalized the edges of my consciousness. Night descended like a velvet curtain, yet the darkness held no fear in this surreal landscape. A silver twilight bathed the forest in an otherworldly glow, suffusing the air with a humming vibration that resonated with the very core of my being. I felt a sense of belonging in this enigmatic realm, a deep-rooted connection that transcended time and space. As I sit here now, penning these words in a journal that appeared seemingly out of thin air, I am at peace with the unknown. The forest whispers its secrets to me in a language only my soul can understand, weaving a tapestry of dreams and memories that blur the boundaries between reality and imagination. I am not lost, for I have found myself in the heart of this mystical realm, where the impossible is as natural as the breath I take. The forest cradles me in its embrace, a silent guardian watching over me as I navigate this wondrous labyrinth of shadows and light. And so I surrender to the enchantment of this timeless place, where the mysteries of the universe unfold like petals in the wind, and the symphony of the forest sings me to sleep. Story 26. On a tranquil stroll through a neglected estate, I stumbled upon a hidden gem, an ancient greenhouse veiled by a curtain of ivy. Stepping into this forgotten sanctuary, I was enveloped by a velvety, warm air saturated with the essence of fertile soil and blossoming plants. The vines embracing the weathered glass seemed to murmur softly, their leaves swaying as if sharing age-old secrets. Each delicate rustle sent a shiver down my spine. Venturing further into the greenhouse, the sunlight filtering through the glass roof cast a soft, ethereal glow. Specks of golden dust pirouetted in the light, forming mesmerizing patterns that pulsed with a rhythm of their own. The wooden shelves, worn but sturdy, cradled clay pots of diverse sizes, some cradling exotic plants with iridescent petals and leaves that shimmered even in the dimness. The melodic drip of water from the dilapidated roof created a soothing symphony, each droplet a note in nature's timeless melody. Tracing my fingertips along the aged workbench, I noticed intricate markings etched into the wood, spirals and curves reminiscent of musical notes, yet uniquely captivating. My gaze was drawn to a corner where a massive vine coiled around an antique chair, its leaves a darker shade with delicate silver veins. As I drew nearer, a subtle chill filled the air, and the whispers grew more distinct, as if the plants acknowledged my presence, their leaves subtly tracking my movements. In the center stood a majestic stone pedestal cloaked in a film of moss, crowned by an ornate copper watering can that bore the patina of ages. Lifting it, I discovered clear, cool water within, carrying a sweet, unfamiliar perfume of night-blooming flowers and dew-kissed mornings. As time ebbed within the greenhouse, peculiarities unveiled themselves, shadows that danced independently of their sources, fleeting movements that defied explanation. The whispers coalesced into a murmured dialogue just beyond comprehension. Tucked between two pots, I unearthed a weathered journal filled with meticulous records of experiments on botanical anomalies that defied logic. The final entry hinted at a revelation concerning botanical consciousness and the language of leaves, the writer's fervor palpable in their script. With the sun's descent, the greenhouse transformed, casting iridescent hues and vibrant shadows that pulsed with vitality. The murmurs of the vines crescendoed, and I fancied I heard my name whispered on the balmy breeze, entwined with the rustling of innumerable leaves. Some vines began to sway rhythmically, devoid of any breeze, their silver-veined leaves aglow with a faint luminescence that drew me into their intricate patterns. Time inched by like thick honey, and as I prepared to depart, the door appeared veiled by gently swaying vines, yielding with a gentle insistence as if urging me to linger. Clutching the journal, its enigmatic contents beckoning, I stepped back into the chill evening air, devoid of the greenhouse's vibrant pulse. Intermittently, I revisit the greenhouse, each visit unveiling new mysteries in the vine's growth and whispers in the humid air. The journal's elusive author never returned, yet fresh writings materialize on its pages in a script that flows like burgeoning vines. I've come to realize that some enigmas are meant to be experienced rather than deciphered, like the gradual unfurling of a leaf toward the sun. In my dreams, the whispers intensify, hinting that the greenhouse is teaching me its language, one visit at a time. The silver-veined plant flourishes, its intricate patterns evolving into breathtaking complexity. Perhaps one day, the vine's message will become clear. Until then, I embark on these visits, each a meditative journey into emerald twilight, each moment a deeper immersion into a mystery that unfurls like the vines themselves, slowly, inevitably, with purpose. Story 27. In the realm of hidden wonders, there lies a tale of a house that held secrets beyond its humble facade. The real estate agent's words painted a picture of a small yet cozy abode, promising a sanctuary of tranquility. With cautious steps, I explored each room, absorbing the essence of the space. But it was at the far end of the hallway where my journey took an unexpected turn. A door, unnoticed during the initial tour, beckoned me with an air of mystery. Hesitation lingered in the air before I turned the knob and crossed the threshold. Inside, a world frozen in time greeted me. The room exuded an ancient stillness, untouched by human presence for what felt like an eternity. Soft autumn light filtered through a lone window, casting delicate shadows upon what appeared to be a forgotten study. A weathered wooden desk stood solemnly against one wall, its surface etched with the marks of time. The grains of the wood danced in hypnotic patterns, drawing me closer into their intricate dance. A peculiar fragrance lingered in the air, a blend of old books and faded flowers, weaving a tapestry of nostalgia around me. Guided by an unseen force, I found myself drawn to the desk, my footsteps muffled by the plush carpet beneath me. The distant melody of wind chimes whispered through the walls, serenading the room with a timeless lullaby. Tracing the edge of the desk with trembling fingers, I discovered a series of delicate carvings, symbols etched into the wood with precision and care. Smooth to the touch, they whispered tales of bygone eras, inviting me to unravel their enigmatic message. Night after night, I found myself drawn back to this hidden chamber. A weathered leather chair, rescued from the depths of the basement, became my companion as I sat in silent contemplation. Time seemed to ebb and flow within these walls, each moment stretching into infinity. One quiet evening, as rain painted gentle rhythms on the window pane, my gaze fell upon the desk drawer. Ajar, it revealed a leather-bound journal, its pages filled with elegant script that transcended the boundaries of time. The words spoke of a space between worlds, a sanctuary where time moved at its own pace, unfettered by the constraints of reality. The entries wove a tapestry of observations, of shifting light, of whispered conversations with spectral visitors. They spoke of a gentle presence that lingered in the silence, a comforting embrace that enveloped the room in tranquility. As days turned into weeks, the room began to change around me. Dust no longer settled upon the surfaces, and the light took on a life of its own, dancing to a rhythm only it could hear. During storms, while the rest of the house quivered with unease, this room remained a beacon of calm, untouched by the chaos outside. I joined my voice with that of the mysterious writer, adding my own musings to the ever-growing narrative. Words shifted and rearranged themselves, a silent dance of collaboration that spoke of a deeper connection between us and the room itself. The enigma of the window held me captive, its view a mirage of reality and illusion. From within, the garden beyond seemed familiar yet subtly different, a reflection of a world just beyond reach. Flowers bloomed out of season, trees whispered secrets in the wind, inviting me to gaze upon a realm untouched by time. The room became my sanctuary, a haven of quiet introspection hidden from prying eyes. Its existence defied the logic of the world, a secret space crafted for those who sought solace in its timeless embrace. The original blueprints of the house bore no trace of this hidden chamber, as if it had materialized from the whispers of the wind itself. As I pen these words, bathed in the fading light of dusk, I ponder the souls who have walked this path before me. The journal speaks of kindred spirits, of seekers lost in the winding corridors of time. Perhaps this room is a beacon for those who crave a respite from the relentless march of days, a refuge where moments stretch into eternity. Time loses its grip within these walls, its hold fading into obscurity, as I surrender to the gentle embrace of the room. Mysteries unravel before me, their secrets whispered in the rustle of unseen shadows. In a world that rushes ever forward, perhaps we all need a sanctuary, a place where time bends to our will, where the light dances in impossible ways, and where the heart finds solace in the quiet hum of the universe. Story 28. In the serene hours of a typical evening, a subtle phenomenon unfolded beneath the familiar floorboards of my home. Soft whispers, barely discernible amidst the distant hum of the city, emanated with a resonance that seemed to echo through time itself. Each footfall I took echoed the mysterious voices, as if the very essence of the house yearned to reveal long-held secrets. While my aged abode often groaned and settled with gentle creaks, these whispers carried a weight of significance. Their elusive words just beyond my comprehension. Their sound evoked the rustling of autumn leaves in a gentle breeze, or the quiet turning of pages in a forgotten library. The first hint of this enigmatic presence came to me during my nightly tea ritual. As steam curled from my cup, carrying notes of chamomile and honey, the wooden floor beneath me radiated a warmth incongruous with the cool autumn air. Days passed, and I discerned a pattern to the whispers. They crescendoed at sunset, when golden light bathed my walls in hues of amber. Far from menacing, the voices bore a wistful quality, stirring a deep wellspring of memory within me. At times, I found myself inexplicably humming in tune with their ethereal melody, a tune that tugged at something ancient in my soul. Driven by curiosity, I often found myself seated on the floor, hand pressed against the pulsing wood beneath me. Certain floorboards, especially those kissed by morning light near the bay window, resonated more strongly with the whispers. On a rainy evening, as droplets tapped against my window panes, a peculiar harmony emerged. The whispers melded with the rainfall, creating a symphony that enveloped the entire house. Shadows danced in the soft lamplight, moving in synchrony with the mysterious sounds as I sat wrapped in a cozy blanket, feeling the whispers become a comforting presence in my solitary existence. A journal soon became my companion, documenting the whispers' intricate patterns. They wove tales in unknown tongues, yet their emotional essence transcended language, speaking of distant memories, of joy and longing, of time's inexorable passage. With each listening, I felt a deepening connection to a realm of unfathomable mystery. Winter descended, cloaking the world in silence and snow. Amidst these long nights, the whispers grew more defined, weaving tales of those who had tread these halls before me, their narratives seeping through time's layers like water through soil. I began to share my own stories with the house, speaking softly into the stillness, feeling the wooden boards warm beneath my steps, as if acknowledging my presence. The sensation mirrored a comforting embrace, a silent communion between past and present. One frost-kissed night, while shifting furniture, I unearthed a small brass key nestled between floorboards. As I cradled it in my hand, the whispers swelled into a melodic harmony, the key exuding a warmth that hinted at its intrinsic connection to the very essence of the house, though its lock remained elusive. The key became my link to the unseen world beneath my feet, enhancing the clarity of the whispers without granting full comprehension. They remained tantalizingly just out of reach, like a half-remembered dream upon waking. Writing by candlelight, I find solace in their gentle song, woven into the fabric of my home's essence. The floorboards still pulse with warmth each night, the whispers a constant companion that greets me each dawn. I ponder if the house chose me, a listener to its stories rather than a solver of its mysteries. Living with this enigmatic presence has taught me the beauty of embracing the unknown, of finding tranquility in unanswered questions. The brass key now rests around my neck, a talisman of the mysteries that envelop me. In the liminal space between sleep and wakefulness, I sense a fleeting understanding of the whisper's intent. Yet I embrace the notion that some mysteries are meant to be felt, not unraveled, experienced instead of explained. And in this gentle dance of shadows and whispers, I find a profound sense of peace. Story 29. The soft crackling of the fireplace enveloped the room, wrapping it in a cocoon of warmth and tranquility. My hand moved in gentle strokes over my dog's plush fur as he lay beside me, his eyes heavy with drowsiness. A sense of peace settled over us, the flickering flames casting a mesmerizing dance of shadows on the walls. But then, a shift in the atmosphere. A subtle change that I almost missed, had it not been for Max's sudden alertness. His body tensed, ears perking up, breaths deep and heavy. In an instant, he sprang up, his bark breaking the quietude of the room, his gaze fixed on a dark, foreboding corner. Initially, I brushed it off as Max being his usual sensitive self, attuned to the faintest of noises, the rustle of leaves, the scurry of a tiny creature. Yet this time felt different, an undercurrent of unease threading through the room. His barks held a note of uncertainty, a silent question lingering in the air. As I followed Max's intense stare towards the shadowed corner, my eyes fell upon the ancient bookshelf that stood there, a relic of bygone years. The weathered wood, the rows of untouched books gathering dust, everything seemed in its rightful place. And yet the chill that emanated from that corner was undeniable, a pocket of winter nestled within the warmth of the room. I wrapped my blanket tighter around me, the flames of the fireplace offering little solace against the inexplicable cold. Max, with cautious steps, advanced towards the enigmatic corner, his tail held low but not tucked in fear. This nightly ritual of ours, of confronting the unknown, had begun. As the evening deepened, and I sat in my favorite armchair, Max's attention unfailingly turned to that corner. Sometimes he would merely observe, body rigid with alertness. Other times he would emit soft, questioning barks, as if trying to communicate with a presence unseen by human eyes. Gradually, subtle anomalies began to reveal themselves. Books shifted positions overnight. The room's temperature fluctuated without reason, and strange scents wafted through the air, hints of old parchment and morning dew. My logical mind sought explanations in settling structures and overactive imagination, but the truth eluded me. One night, bathed in the glow of lamplight, I heard Max's bark, a familiar warning. And when I directed my gaze towards the bookshelf, I witnessed a phenomenon beyond comprehension. Dust motes swirled in defiance of natural laws, shaping themselves into forms that resembled letters before dissipating into the air. Max's soft whine, his protective presence at my side, grounded me in the midst of the inexplicable. I began documenting these occurrences in a journal, noting the patterns that emerged. The nocturnal activity seemed to peak during the waning moon or amidst gentle rain. The displaced books always belonged to the same shelf, ancient volumes of poetry and folklore that whispered of forgotten tales. In the hazy realm between wakefulness and slumber, I felt a fleeting connection to Max's perception. The corner appeared to stretch infinitely, its shadows undulating with an otherworldly vitality. Yet every time I attempted to focus directly on these phenomena, they slipped through my grasp like elusive dreams. There was no fear in our shared space, only a quiet inquisitiveness that bound us together, Max, myself, and the unseen presence. The enigma became a comfortable companion, akin to a well-worn sweater on a cool evening, a mystery not to be unraveled but embraced. Now as I pen these words by the flickering firelight, Max rests at my feet, his occasional twitches a reminder of our nightly vigil. The bookshelf stands sentinel in the corner, its depths concealing secrets that may forever elude comprehension. And in the growing darkness the shadows deepen, holding within them ancient whispers of unknown origins. Understanding, I realize, is not always about seeing, but about trusting the intangible sensations that visit us in the silent pauses between heartbeats. The fire crackles on, casting its gentle glow across the room, while Max drifts into a peaceful slumber, his ears still attuned to the mysteries of the night. In that dim corner, where shadows converge and secrets linger, we find solace in the embrace of the enigmatic, learning to cherish the whispered secrets of the unseen world that surrounds us. Story 30. As I wandered through the dimly lit corners of an antique store, my eyes fell upon a forgotten nook, obscured by time and neglect. Amidst the jumble of forgotten treasures, my gaze settled upon a small, intricate music box, its beauty obscured by layers of dust. Curiosity piqued, I reached out and delicately wound up the mechanism, unleashing a melody that seemed to stir the very air around me. The haunting notes drifted through the stillness of the shop, carrying with them a sense of melancholy and nostalgia. It was a tune that tugged at the edges of my memory, whispering of bygone days and half-remembered dreams. As the music box sang its siren song, I found myself drawn into a reverie, as if the melody held the key to unlocking a hidden chamber of my past. Crafted from mahogany and adorned with intricate golden inlays, the music box exuded a quiet elegance, its surface cool beneath my fingertips. The wood seemed to come alive under my touch, resonating with a warmth that hinted at long-forgotten stories woven into its very fibers. In the hazy light filtering through the dusty windows, I became entranced by the intricate dance of gears and pins within the music box. Each note hung in the air, a shimmering thread weaving a tapestry of memories and emotions that enveloped me in a cocoon of sound. The scent of old books and polished brass mingled with a sweeter fragrance, like the faded perfume of roses pressed between the pages of a cherished novel. Time itself seemed to slow, stretching and twisting with each lingering note until reality blurred, and I found myself adrift in a sea of sound and sensation. As the melody played on, ethereal images began to flicker at the edges of my consciousness. Candlelit ballrooms filled with swirling skirts and the echo of laughter, figures moving in graceful arcs to the music's haunting refrain. These visions were like fragments of a half-remembered dream, slipping through my grasp even as I tried to hold on to them. The shop's owner, a weathered man with eyes that held the wisdom of ages, appeared at my side, his presence as ghostly as the memories conjured by the music box. He spoke in hushed tones, revealing that each listener heard a unique melody, a song that spoke directly to the depths of their soul. As the final strains of the music faded into silence, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the music box's mirror. For an instant, a fleeting heartbeat, I saw another face staring back at me, familiar yet foreign, a mirror image of myself filled with a profound sense of knowing. The moment passed, leaving me with a bittersweet ache in my chest, a longing for something just out of reach. The music box wound down, the last echoes of its song dissipating into the stillness of the shop. But the melody lingered on in my mind, a haunting echo that whispered of mysteries and secrets just beyond my grasp. The shop owner smiled knowingly, his eyes alight with a quiet understanding. He shared tales of customers who returned day after day, chasing the elusive strains of their own unique melodies. But the music box remained steadfast, never repeating a tune, each melody a fleeting gift meant to be savored in the moment. I left the shop that day without the music box in hand, knowing that some magic was not meant to be possessed but merely experienced. Yet the melody stayed with me, a soft refrain that played in the background of my thoughts, a reminder of that enchanted afternoon when time stood still and dreams danced on the edge of reality. In the hush of night, as I drift between waking and slumber, snatches of the melody return to me, like whispers from a forgotten realm. In my dreams, I find myself drawn back to the antique shop, seeking out the music box among the shadows and relics of the past. But like the elusive melody it held, the shop remains a mirage, a place suspended between memory and imagination, forever just beyond my reach. And so, the music box lives on in the twilight realm of my mind, a fragment of a forgotten symphony that continues to play, weaving its spell of mystery and melancholy for those who dare to listen. Story 31. The gentle glow of the television screen enveloped the dimly lit room in a soft, ethereal light. I had drifted off while watching an old film, only to awaken to a screen that seemed to be blank, or so I thought. Suddenly, the image flickered to life, distorted, almost ghostly. It displayed a live feed of a bedroom, my bedroom. And there, at the foot of my bed, stood a figure, motionless, shrouded in darkness against the moonlit backdrop filtering through the window. The quality of the image resembled vintage security footage, with a slight greenish tint that lent an otherworldly air to the scene. Rain tapped gently against the window panes, creating a soothing white noise that filled the silent room. The house murmured as it settled, the wind whispered through the cracks, and my heartbeat provided a steady rhythm to the surreal moment. What struck me most was not just the presence of the figure, but the impossible perspective of the footage. It seemed to be from the vantage point of my bedroom doorway, yet my closed door should have blocked such a view. I had dozed off with an old film playing, the remote still resting loosely in my hand. I tried to turn off the TV, but to no avail. The image remained unwavering. The figure in my bedroom made a subtle movement, revealing a peculiar fluidity in their actions, like a seamless dance. The rain outside intensified, its patter blending harmoniously with the eerie ambience. The scent of petrichor, mingled with the familiar fragrance of aged books and wooden furniture, wafted through the room. I found myself transfixed by the screen, unable to look away. The figure, instead of approaching the bed, turned towards my dresser, where my grandmother's music box sat. With a graceful motion, they wound the mechanism, and the tinkling lullaby filled the room. A melody from my childhood, clear and poignant, as if played right beside me, though I knew the music box was upstairs, behind a closed door. The music intertwined with the rain, creating an oddly tranquil atmosphere amidst the inexplicable events unfolding. Mesmerized, I watched as the figure swayed to the lullaby, their movements captivating and eerily familiar. The room revealed subtle discrepancies. The books arranged in unfamiliar patterns, the rocking chair moving without a breeze, and the shadows cast by the moonlight danced in defiance of logic. Slowly, the figure turned towards the TV, towards me. Though their features remained obscured by shadow, a deep sense of recognition washed over me, devoid of fear. It felt as though I was gazing at a forgotten reflection of myself, a nostalgic familiarity that transcended time. The lullaby lulled me into a drowsy state, the rain a soothing backdrop to the figure's dreamlike dance. The boundary between the TV screen and reality blurred, the static merging with the darkness of the room. When I blinked, sunlight flooded through the windows, and the TV screen was truly black. I ascended to my bedroom, the lullaby lingering in my mind. Everything appeared unchanged, except for the music box on the dresser, open, its mechanism unwound, as if it had played throughout the night. On sleepless nights, I find myself drawn back to that TV, waiting in anticipation. The rain often accompanies these moments, and occasionally, amidst the static and shadows, I glimpse the familiar figure dancing to a melody suspended between memory and dream. I no longer switch off the TV. Perhaps I cannot, or perhaps I choose not to. There is solace in the thought that within that enigmatic, grainy feed, a part of me continues to dance to my grandmother's lullaby, safeguarding memories that refuse to fade into oblivion. Story 32. Deep in the late hours of a solitary work night, the soft hum of my computer was the only sound that echoed through the room. As I pored over a stack of documents, the screen suddenly flickered with bursts of static, and within that crackling haze emerged a faint, urgent whisper. The voice, barely discernible amidst the electronic buzz, uttered words that sent a chill down my spine. In the dim light, with only the gentle whir of technology surrounding me, I sensed a chilling connection between the digital void and a clandestine message intended solely for my ears. With each passing moment, the whisper grew more distinct, like a radio signal gradually tuning into clarity. I found myself drawn closer to the monitor, captivated by an inexplicable force. The soft blue glow bathed my face as I strained to decipher the hidden message within the static. It seemed to pulsate in harmony with my breath, forging an intimate link between myself and the enigmatic realm beyond the screen. That night, my workspace felt transformed. The familiar shapes of furniture cast delicate shadows in the monitor's light, and the usual creaks of the building took on a mysterious significance. The whisper carried snippets of conversations I couldn't place, memories that felt foreign yet strangely authentic, as if they belonged to a parallel version of myself existing in a digital dimension. Gradually, the seemingly random static began to unveil intricate patterns, akin to frost etchings on a frosty window. Guided by the whisper, I discerned hidden connections that would have otherwise eluded me. My fingers trembled over the keyboard, as if possessed by a knowledge beyond conscious understanding. Anticipation thickened the air, not fear, but a profound sense of revelation. A subtle shift in temperature enveloped the room, a cool breeze carrying a hint of ozone, while my skin tingled with a gentle static charge. The whisper divulged not frightful secrets, but profound truths about reality that resonated deeply in that moment, akin to the lucidity of a dream before waking. Time lost its rigidity, fluctuating between midnight and early hours without jarring transitions, as if linear time were a mere illusion. I learned of the delicate boundary between the digital and physical worlds, realizing my computer as a portal to a vast, wondrous domain where information thrived and evolved. Sitting there, I comprehended that the static was not mere noise, but a language, ancient and futuristic intertwined. The whisper tutored me in its interpretation, revealing how each crackle and burst held meanings transcending verbal expression. My consciousness expanded, embracing concepts once deemed implausible that now felt as intrinsic as breathing. The experience deepened, and static patterns manifested in the air around me, akin to ethereal auroras dancing at the edge of my vision. The whisper assured me of the normalcy of this phenomenon as I transitioned between realms of awareness, each unveiling new layers of enlightenment. I found myself typing code instinctively, guided by forces beyond my comprehension, constructing a bridge between realities. The characters on my screen morphed into symbols that communicated directly with my subconscious, a mesmerizing transformation that should have evoked fear, yet instead felt like a return to a long-lost home. Time blurred, days merging into hours as the whisper gradually faded, leaving behind a gift, a heightened awareness of the hidden tapestry woven into everyday life. As the static dissipated from the screen, I caught my reflection in the darkened monitor. Something had shifted within me. A quiet wisdom gleamed in my eyes, a knowledge previously undiscovered. Even now, whispers linger in the electronic hum of my devices, the static occasionally forming familiar patterns, like an old friend beckoning my attention. I've learned to embrace these moments, gentle reminders that reality harbors secrets far more enchanting and enigmatic than we dare to imagine. The digital void, I realized, is not vacant, but brimming with whispers, awaiting a willing ear to listen. Story 33. As the day's weariness draped over me like a heavy shroud, I returned to my apartment building, seeking solace in the familiar surroundings. The elevator descended with a soft hum, carrying me down to the basement level, where an unexpected encounter awaited. Stepping out into the quiet stillness, a cadence of deliberate footsteps reverberated through the empty stairwell, each sound a measured beat echoing off the cold, unyielding walls. A sense of unease crept over me as the footsteps approached, growing louder with each passing moment, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. The fluorescent lights above cast a gentle, pulsating glow, casting dancing shadows that seemed to whisper ancient secrets. I stood motionless, my breath forming delicate clouds in the chill air, feeling a subtle shift in the atmosphere of the basement corridor. The air carried hints of old paper and damp earth, mingled with the fragrance of autumn leaves and a distant memory. Slowly turning, the worn floor beneath my shoes barely whispered a sound as I gazed up the seemingly endless stairwell, disappearing into darkness despite the illumination. The footsteps persisted, a haunting rhythm that beckoned me to listen, though the source remained unseen. Recollections of my grandmother's tales flooded my mind, her words resonating in the quiet space, speaking of places where the veil between worlds grew thin, where memories lingered within the very walls themselves. The footsteps drew nearer, each echo accompanied by a chilling drop in temperature that prickled my skin, not with fear, but with a sense of recognition, as though an ancient melody played just beyond my grasp. Closing my eyes, I surrendered to the symphony of sound enveloping me, the building's subtle hum blending with the rhythmic footsteps in a hauntingly beautiful harmony. The shifting scent in the air evoked memories of my grandmother's home, of cinnamon and aged books, of shadows dancing in the flickering light of a stormy afternoon. Upon opening my eyes, the stairwell appeared transformed, shadows moving with a life of their own, swirling like dark tendrils caressing the walls in a silent dance of curiosity. The footsteps now softened, their cadence slowing to a gentle murmur that tugged at my curiosity and beckoned me forward. With each step I ascended, the weight of the world seemed to lift from my shoulders, the walls whispering fragments of the past, weaving a tapestry of forgotten moments into the fabric of my being. The building itself seemed to come alive, sharing its history through the language of shadows and echoes. Reaching a landing, the shadows coalesced into intricate patterns, resembling spectral figures frozen in time, their movements a silent ballet of bygone days. The air grew heavy with the scent of antiquity, of stories untold and memories long forgotten, mingling with the essence of time itself. In the hush that followed, a profound realization washed over me. The building was not a mere structure, but a keeper of tales, a guardian of memories waiting to be unveiled. Sitting amidst the whispers of the past, I felt a connection to all who had trod these stairs, their joys and sorrows merging with my own. As I prepared to depart, the shadows receded like a retreating tide, the footsteps falling silent, their message delivered without words. Though the stairwell appeared ordinary once more, I carried with me the profound understanding that some mysteries are not meant to be deciphered, but embraced, felt, and woven into the fabric of our existence. With a newfound sense of peace, I retraced my steps back to the elevator, grateful for the glimpse into the building's timeless narrative. The next time the echoes of footsteps graced the empty stairwell, I welcomed them with a knowing smile, embracing each moment as a thread in the rich tapestry of the building's enduring story, a testament to the power of remembrance and the beauty of listening to the whispers of the past. Story 34. The night lay still, a heavy blanket wrapping the world in quietude. From the depths of the darkness, a delicate melody drifted, weaving through the air like a whisper carried on the wind. Nestled in my cozy armchair, a woolen blanket draped over my knees, and a forgotten cup of chamomile tea resting on the side table beside me, I lifted my gaze from the pages of a book. The notes, soft and ethereal, painted the room with their presence, evoking a sense of nostalgia that tugged at the corners of my memory. It was the sound of a piano, I was certain, playing a tune that felt strangely familiar, like a half-remembered dream from another time. In the dim glow of a small lamp casting a warm circle of light around me, shadows danced on the walls in rhythm with the mysterious music. With a gentle rustle, I rose from my seat, letting the blanket slip to the floor as I ventured towards the living room window. Outside, the night held its breath, the full moon casting a silvery glow over the garden, illuminating the swaying silhouettes of trees in the soft breeze. The neighboring houses stood silent and still, their secrets hidden in the depths of the night. Yet, the haunting melody persisted, drifting from all directions and none, a ghostly symphony that beckoned me to unravel its enigmatic origins. Room by room, I wandered through the silent corridors of my home, following the elusive music that seemed to shift and morph with each step. In the kitchen, it whispered from the living room. In the living room, it echoed from the stairs. On the stairs, it descended from the upper floor. A mesmerizing dance of sound and silence guided me through the familiar spaces, leading me ever closer to the heart of the mysterious melody. Ascending to the upper floor, I found my bedroom door slightly ajar, a pale sliver of moonlight seeping through the curtains to paint intricate patterns on the floor. The music, now clearer and more defined, beckoned me closer, its siren call impossible to resist. Standing at the threshold, I beheld a sight that stirred memories long forgotten. My grandmother's old music box, a relic of the past perched on the bedside table, glowed in the dim light, its tiny ballerina twirling in a silent dance, casting her shadow on the wall. Approaching with cautious steps, I felt the pulse of the music reverberate in my chest, a gentle thrumming that echoed the rhythm of my own heart. The music box, once dormant and forgotten, now pulsed with a warm light, drawing me in like a moth to a flame. As I reached out to touch its surface, a strange warmth greeted my fingertips, sending a shiver down my spine. The ballerina, with her delicate features now unmistakably familiar, bore the likeness of my grandmother, her sweet smile frozen in time. In a moment of quiet connection, our eyes met, and the melody shifted, transforming into a lullaby that had once cradled me to sleep in the safety of her arms. Immersed in a cocoon of sound and memory, I stood transfixed, embracing the bittersweet nostalgia that washed over me like a gentle tide. The notes ebbed and flowed, filling the room with their melancholic beauty until, like a fading echo, they receded into the night. As the final strains dissipated into the silence, the music box closed with a soft click, sealing away its secrets once more. Returning to the warmth of my armchair downstairs, I wrapped myself in the comforting embrace of the woolen blanket, the book lying open but forgotten in my lap. My mind lingered on the enigmatic music box and the spectral presence of my grandmother, pondering the hidden melodies that lay dormant within its silent confines. Since that fateful night, when the moon hangs heavy in the sky and the house is cloaked in stillness, a familiar melody drifts through the rooms, a spectral reminder of mysteries left unsolved. No longer do I seek its source, content to close my eyes and let the music wash over me, a reminder that some enigmas are meant to be felt rather than understood. In the embrace of the night, I find solace in the haunting strains that bridge the gap between past and present, a lullaby that speaks of love and longing, weaving a tapestry of memories that dance on the edge of dreams. Story 35. In the quiet solitude of the attic, amidst forgotten treasures and dust-laden memories, a small keyring caught my eye. It held a collection of keys, each one a masterpiece of design and age-old craftsmanship. These keys, with their intricate patterns and silent allure, whispered of untold stories and hidden realms waiting to be discovered. As I held them in my hand, the attic seemed to hold its breath, as if awaiting the unlocking of long-buried mysteries. The keys gleamed softly in the dim light, casting a spell of enchantment over the room. Their golden sheen remained untouched by time, radiating a warmth that was both comforting and mysterious. I traced the delicate engravings on each key, feeling a sense of familiarity mingled with curiosity, as if these keys held a connection to a past I had yet to uncover. Bringing the keys down to my study that evening, I placed them gently on my desk, accompanied by the soft glow of a desk lamp and a cup of chamomile tea. The rain outside added a soothing rhythm to the room, blending with the faint whispers of the keys as I began to sketch their intricate details. With each stroke of my pencil, the room seemed to shift in subtle ways. The keys themselves appeared to dance in the shifting light, as if teasing me with glimpses of hidden melodies and half-remembered dreams. I felt a gentle pull towards these keys, a fascination that grew with each passing moment. As days turned into nights, and nights into dreams, the keys became more than just objects to me. They became conduits to a realm of wonder and mystery that beckoned me to explore. In my sleep, I wandered through corridors of imagination, seeking the doors that matched these intricate keys, feeling the pull of secrets waiting to be revealed. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, I made a discovery that set my heart pounding with excitement. The keys, when arranged in a certain pattern, revealed a constellation that shimmered with an otherworldly glow. The air in the room seemed to hum with anticipation, as if on the verge of unveiling a long-held secret. The keys themselves took on a life of their own, their shadows playing tricks on the walls and creating patterns that seemed to shift and twist in the lamplight. I reached out to touch them, only to find that they eluded my grasp, as if daring me to unravel their mysteries. With each passing day, the keys revealed new wonders to me. They seemed to respond to the elements, their metalwork coming alive in the moonlight or the gentle rain, hinting at a power that transcended the physical realm. Time itself seemed to bend and sway in their presence, stretching moments into eternity and blurring the line between reality and dreams. And so, I embraced the enigmatic presence of these keys, their silent guardianship offering a sense of solace and intrigue in the quiet hours of the night. They remain a reminder that some mysteries are meant to be cherished, their secrets kept safe within the confines of my study, where they shimmer and shift like whispers of a world beyond our own. And in the hushed moments between wakefulness and slumber, I find peace in the company of these keys, silent sentinels of the unknown, guiding me on a journey of endless exploration and wonder. Story 36. In the soft embrace of an early morning, the park beckoned me with its whispered secrets. Amidst the tranquil beauty, my steps led me to a behemoth of nature, an ancient oak tree that stood steadfast and wise. Its bark, weathered by time's gentle caress, bore enigmatic carvings that glowed faintly in the dim light of dawn. Each symbol and word etched into the tree's skin exuded a sense of mystery, a tale as old as the earth itself. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and the promise of new beginnings, mingling with the unspoken tension that hung around the tree like a shroud. It felt as though the oak was alive, its branches whispering a message meant solely for my eyes to decipher. With a sense of reverence, I ran my fingers along the rough bark, tracing the intricate patterns that seemed to dance in the morning mist. The gentle rustle of leaves overhead provided a soothing melody, accompanied by the distant serenade of birds greeting the day. As I delved deeper into the carvings, I noticed a subtle shift in their form, as if the ancient oak itself was revealing its secrets to me. Letters from forgotten alphabets intertwined with symbols reminiscent of celestial dances, inviting me to unravel their timeless riddle. Day after day, the oak tree became my sanctuary, a portal to a realm where reality blurred with dreams. Each visit unveiled new wonders, the play of shadows creating ever-changing tapestries on the bark, the glistening dew that adorned the carvings like liquid silver. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the boundaries between waking and sleeping worlds dissolved into a harmonious dance. One mist-laden morning, a subtle shift in the air hinted at a change within the ancient oak. New symbols had emerged overnight, weaving a fresh chapter into the tapestry of time that adorned its trunk. The atmosphere hummed with a quiet energy, and the leaves whispered urgently above, as if urging me to pay heed to the unfolding mystery. Captivated by the tree's silent call, I sketched the symbols in my notebook, each stroke a tribute to the enigmatic language of the oak. With each drawing, a sense of interconnectedness emerged, weaving a thread that transcended centuries and civilizations. The library became my haven, a treasure trove of ancient wisdom that illuminated the path towards understanding the oak's cryptic message. In the realm of dreams, the carvings spoke to me with clarity, revealing tales of cycles and watchers, of echoes from the past that lingered in the present. They whispered of a shared journey, of souls intertwined across time and space, leaving their mark on the living canvas of the oak. Shadows of the past danced in the sunlight, their ephemeral forms a testament to the enduring legacy of those who had come before. As the months unfurled like petals in a gentle breeze, I embraced the oak's mystery with a newfound sense of wonder. The carvings held a truth beyond words, a reminder that some mysteries are meant to be felt rather than unraveled. The oak stood as a bridge between worlds, a silent witness to the timeless dance of existence. Though the identity of the carvers remained shrouded in the mists of time, it was the connection forged with the ancient oak that resonated most deeply. Sitting beneath its outstretched branches, I added my own thoughts to the symphony of stories contained within its bark, a silent echo in the chorus of whispers that spanned generations. In quiet contemplation, I became a part of the oak's eternal tale, a humble contributor to its ever-evolving narrative. As the oak continued its silent vigil, its message ever-changing yet eternally constant, I marveled at the enduring beauty of mystery and wonder that intertwined within its ancient heart. In the spaces between what we know and what we dream, the oak stood as a testament to the boundless nature of existence, a gentle reminder that magic still lingers in the whispers of the wind and the dance of shadows. And so, beneath the watchful gaze of the ancient sentinel, I found solace in the enduring mystery of the oak tree, a beacon of tranquility in a world filled with fleeting moments. Story 37. Driving down an empty country road one misty morning, I found myself enveloped in a thick, swirling fog. Amid the hush of that damp stillness, a soft voice called out my name with a haunting familiarity. The sound, carried on the moist breeze, echoed with a chilling clarity. The fog closed in from all directions, seeming almost alive, as if it held secrets waiting to be unveiled. I gently released the pressure on the gas pedal, allowing my car to glide forward at a leisurely pace. The headlights cast a gentle, diffused glow, causing the fog to shimmer with an inner luminescence. Each breath I drew filled my lungs with crisp, mist-laden air, carrying the sweet, earthy aroma of damp grass and morning dew. The cool touch of the leather steering wheel beneath my fingertips guided me through the ethereal landscape. The whispers persisted, neither growing louder nor fading, striking a delicate balance between clarity and obscurity. They evoked a sense of familiarity, reminiscent of something or someone from long ago, yet just beyond my grasp, like a memory on the edge of recollection. I felt drawn deeper into the fog's embrace, my thoughts drifting through reminiscences of childhood summers and autumn dusks. The road ahead vanished into whiteness, compelling me to rely on intuition more than sight. Time seemed to stretch, each moment elongating like honey trickling from a spoon. The soft hum of my engine provided a soothing backdrop to the whispers, now seeming to emanate from all around me. They conveyed words almost comprehensible, akin to overhearing a conversation through a thin wall, intelligible yet elusive. As I drove, I observed peculiar patterns materializing in the fog, subtle spirals and currents that trailed my car. They resembled the graceful movements of smoke rising from an extinguished candle, twirling and weaving with purposeful elegance. These shapes seemed to inscribe messages in the air, though they dispersed before I could decipher them, leaving behind a sense of significance. The interior of my car gradually grew colder, my breath forming delicate clouds merging with the surrounding mist. The fog caressed my windows like tender hands, leaving tiny droplets tracing winding paths down the glass. Each droplet captured and refracted the faint light, creating a constellation of miniature stars around me. Through the misty veil, shadowy figures emerged by the roadside, old fence posts maybe, or trees. Yet as I passed them, they morphed and shifted, assuming forms that stirred distant memories. A specific shadow evoked my grandmother's rocking chair, another the ancient windmill behind our family abode. However, I knew these couldn't be real. That house and all its contents had faded into the past decades ago. The whispers grew more defined, their gentle tone persisting. They narrated forgotten promises and unresolved dialogues, moments suspended in time. I recognized the voice, or rather, voices, echoes of those I had lost through the years, their words blending into a soft symphony of remembrance. At some point, my watch had stopped, its hands frozen in place, yet I welcomed the stillness. Time felt increasingly inconsequential in this threshold between reality and memory. The fog continued to swirl around my car, forming enigmatic patterns that eluded my comprehension. It was as if the mist itself sought to convey something profound, something to be felt rather than understood. I noticed a change in the road beneath my tires. Instead of rough asphalt, it felt smoother, resembling the dirt path leading to my childhood home. The fog parted slightly, revealing glimpses of tall grass swaying in an unseen breeze. Small flowers adorned the roadside, their hues subdued yet visible through the mist. Purple and white blossoms my mother once gathered for her kitchen table. The whispers transitioned into a soothing lullaby, familiar yet mysterious, comforting yet enigmatic. They spoke of circular journeys and endings that looped back to beginnings. A smile tugged at my lips, its origin elusive. The fog drew nearer, its cool touch gentle against my skin through the cracked window. Continuing to drive, I realized any fear I once harbored had dissipated. The fog whispering my name was not a stranger but an old companion, a custodian of memories and keeper of forgotten moments. Perhaps it had awaited my arrival, or maybe I had awaited its embrace. The distinction seemed inconsequential now. The road ahead remained veiled, the fog swirling ethereally around my car. Nevertheless, I pressed on, guided by the whispers and the gentle tug of recollection. I have come to understand that profound truths often materialize not in moments of clarity, but in the soft, swirling mists of uncertainty. Venturing deeper into the fog that knew my name, I grasped that some questions are best left as whispers in the mist. Story 38. The gentle rain whispered against the window, casting a tranquil spell over the room. A fragrance of damp wood and steaming tea lingered in the air, a comforting presence on the desk. It was a night made for losing oneself in a book, for letting the words carry you into dreams. But then, as if in a dream itself, 3 firm knocks echoed through the stillness, shattering the peace. Each rap on the door was clear, purposeful. I held my breath, surprised by the unexpected interruption. The old armchair sighed softly as I shifted, fingers carefully marking my place in the well-loved paperback. The clock above the mantel showed 11:47 p.m., its gentle tick-tock blending with the soft patter of raindrops outside. Living on the top floor, visitors were a rarity, especially at this late hour. The notion of someone outside my door at this time sent a shiver down my spine, raising goosebumps on my skin. I remained motionless, ears straining to catch any sound. The rain's lullaby continued, accompanied now by the low hum of the radiator. Perhaps it was just my imagination, fueled by the eerie tales I often lost myself in at night. Nestling back into the chair, I pulled my cozy blanket tighter around me, seeking solace in its warmth. And then it came once more, 3 knocks, evenly spaced, each identical to the last. My heart quickened, not with fear, but with a curious recognition. There was something familiar in that rhythmic tapping, a memory lurking on the edge of my consciousness like a half-forgotten dream. Rising slowly, my steps silent on the wooden floor, I made my way towards the door. The soft glow of the reading lamp painted the room in a warm light, casting dancing shadows on the walls. As I neared the door, a strange observation caught my attention. The usual draft that slipped beneath the door was absent, a curious absence on such a stormy night. Standing before the door, I pressed my hand against its surface, feeling an unexpected warmth seep through the wood as though it had basked in sunlight all day. A sensation of impossibility on this rainy evening. Closing my eyes, I focused on the sensations surrounding me. The rain's gentle melody, the distant rumble of thunder, the faint vibrations under my palm. 3 more knocks sounded, softer this time, almost hesitant, like a gentle attempt to rouse without startling. The warmth from the door pulsed with each knock, spreading through my hand in gentle waves. Memories of my grandmother's tales surfaced, stories of nights when the boundaries between worlds blurred. Some doors, she'd say, lead to places beyond our understanding. Standing there, hand resting on the warm wood, I pondered if this was what she meant. The knocking ceased, but the warmth lingered, a comforting heartbeat against my palm. The rain outside shifted its rhythm, falling in a cadence that mirrored the earlier knocks. Time seemed to stretch and bend, the moments elongating like molasses dripping from a spoon. The light in the room took on a golden hue, casting an otherworldly glow over everything. Books, furniture, even the steam from the forgotten tea. That night, the door remained closed. I stayed rooted in place until the warmth faded, returning to my armchair to find my tea still steaming, the clock frozen at 11:47 p.m. On rainy nights since, I've felt that same warmth emanating from the door, a gentle reminder of mysteries unsolved. I've come to cherish these moments, understanding that reality is more fluid than we dare to believe. The knocks never returned, but a transformation occurred within me that night. I've learned to embrace the enigmas that elude explanation, like a whisper dissipating before it's understood. My grandmother's wisdom resonates. Some doors are best left unopened, not in fear but in reverence for the delicate balance between knowledge and intuition. The true puzzle, perhaps, lies not in the identity of the visitor, but in how they awakened a dormant part of me. Drifting into sleep that night, a newfound sense of peace enveloped me. The rain continued its symphony, the clock its steady beat, and occasionally on nights touched by magic, I'd feel that familiar warmth against my hand. And in those moments I'd smile, embracing the gentle mysteries that lull us into slumber with their elusive secrets. Story 39. On a rainy night, the city lights smeared across the slick pavement as I navigated into the parking lot. Amongst the soft patter of raindrops, a small, handwritten note caught my eye, clinging to my windshield. Its message was mysterious, ending with a signature that sent a shiver down my spine. It was my own. The note exuded the scent of dampness and aged cologne, and as I stood there in the cool drizzle, a sense of unease began to coil in my stomach. The message was simple. Meet me where light dances on water at midnight. You'll understand when you arrive. Beneath those enigmatic words was my signature, a perfect replica of every loop and curve I had painstakingly crafted over the years. The paper felt fragile between my fingertips, as though it had traversed through time rather than just being left on my windshield. Driving home that evening, the note lay on the passenger seat, and I stole glances at it, half expecting it to vanish. The rhythmic swish of the wipers created a hypnotic pattern on the glass, and my thoughts meandered through a maze of possibilities. The lingering cologne in my car stirred elusive memories that slipped through my grasp. In my apartment, I placed the note on my desk, studying it under the warm glow of the reading lamp. The paper bore the marks of age, yellowed at the edges, telling tales of bygone eras. But what intrigued me the most was a faint watermark visible when held against the light, a symbol from my childhood journals, drawn countless times. That night, sleep came in waves, interrupted by the gentle tap-tap of raindrops on my window. In my dreams, I witnessed reflections of myself wandering through mirrors, each version adorned in attire from different epochs. They exchanged notes silently, passing them like a secret game of correspondence. Upon waking, the note had transformed. The ink had shifted, unveiling a hidden message beneath the first, only visible in the early morning light. Time is not what you perceive, neither am I. The signature remained unchanged, but now seemed to shimmer with a subtle iridescence, akin to oil on water. I spent the day in tranquil contemplation, observing the rain sketch patterns on my windows. The world outside seemed to move at a different tempo, as though time itself were bending around the enigma of the note. My phone stayed silent, though I couldn't recall switching it off. The clock on my wall ticked with an unusual resonance, each second elongating more than the last. By evening, the rain had softened to a gentle mist, drawing me towards the serene lake near my home. The water's surface rippled with tiny droplets, whispering secrets through concentric circles. Approaching the shore, I noticed how the streetlights cast perfect columns of light on the water, reaching into its depths. Seated on a bench overlooking the lake, the note now warm in my pocket, I inhaled the fragrance of damp earth and something else, the familiar cologne growing more potent. A figure materialized in the distance, standing at the water's edge, their outline blurred by mist. Motionless, they watched the interplay of light on water. Raising a hand in greeting, I found my own hand mirroring the gesture involuntarily. As I moved closer, the mist swirled, forming peculiar patterns, crafting vapor doorways that seemed to lead elsewhere entirely. The cologne scent intensified, evoking a flood of memories, not of my past, but of moments yet to unfold. I never reached the figure by the lake. Instead, I found myself back in my car, the note displaying a fresh message. You've already treaded here. You'll revisit this place again. The signature remained mine, but now I comprehended it was not a forgery. It was genuine, penned by my own hand in a moment unrevealed to me. The rain continued its gentle descent, wrapping me in a cloak of mystery. Some questions, I realized, were not meant to be answered but experienced, akin to the space between raindrops or the pause between heartbeats. The note found a permanent abode in my desk drawer, yet sometimes in the dead of night I swear I can hear the rustle of paper, reshaping itself into fresh messages. I still frequent the lake, observing the dance of light on water. Occasionally I catch glimpses of myself, past or future. The distinction eludes me, stationed at various points along the shore. We exchange knowing glances without uttering a word. The cologne scent wafts between us, conveying messages more profound than words could articulate. The mystery of the note endures unsolved, but it has woven itself into my being, akin to a soft echo trailing my footsteps. In silent moments, I find myself reaching for a pen, pondering if, somewhere, sometime, another version of me is receiving a note I have not yet penned. Story 40. The gentle cadence of raindrops tapping against my window had become a dear friend during my late-night writing rituals. Each droplet painted shimmering trails down the glass, weaving a fluid tapestry of liquid light. In the soft embrace of my amber-hued desk lamp, the room enveloped me in a cozy shroud of darkness, save for the warm glow surrounding me. I found solace in observing the rain's intricate dance, tracing patterns in its wandering paths. Sometimes amidst my creative reverie, I fancied tales hidden within the crystal-clear trails left behind. But on this particular night, a subtle shift in the rain's rhythm caught my attention. The water seemed to flow in peculiar patterns, as if guided by an invisible force. Initially dismissing it as a trick of fatigue, I nearly succumbed to the tranquil limbo between consciousness and slumber. Yet the anomalies in the rain's movements grew more distinct as I continued to peer through the glass. Droplets avoided certain areas, delineating dry patches that slowly outlined a figure. Intrigued, I drew closer to the window, my breath hitching. The reflection not only mirrored the rain's pattern, but also captured the dim interior of my room behind me. Within that layered reflection of glass and water, a peculiarity caught my eye. My own reflection seemed slightly delayed, out of sync with my motions, as if trailing a fraction of a second behind. The rain's hushed melody filled my ears, a soothing symphony of nature's own composition. Entranced, I witnessed my reflection's hand reaching out to touch the glass, a movement disconnected from my own stationary palm. The motion flowed gracefully, akin to a dancer performing a routine unknown to me. A gentle warmth kissed my skin, contrasting the cool air by the window. Subtle shifts transformed the reflection's features, rendering it simultaneously recognizable and alien. The eyes staring back held a profound wisdom, depths unfathomed in my own gaze, hinting at timeless knowledge. Motionless, I watched as my reflection underwent a gentle metamorphosis, transcending gender and age to embody something eternal. The rain wove intricate circles around this enigmatic figure, defying gravity with each droplet's dance. A flicker from my desk lamp momentarily dimmed the room, ushering in a fleeting darkness. Within that ephemeral shadow, a presence brushed against me, as comforting as a mother's caress. As the light steadied, my reflection returned to mimic my actions flawlessly. Yet, the rain persisted in its impossible circular patterns, a silent testament to the extraordinary visitation. Hours slipped away as I remained by the window, pondering the ethereal encounter. The lingering essence of that unseen presence lingered like a cherished melody, neither alarming nor intrusive. With the approaching dawn, the rain gradually tapered off, leaving behind only mundane streaks on the window pane. Now, on rainy evenings, I find myself drawn to that window, pen and paper forgotten on my desk. In those rare moments when the rainfall creates a perfect mirror, I glimpse that other self watching me through the glass. A silent understanding binds us, my reflection and I, acknowledging that some mysteries are meant to be felt rather than deciphered. The rain persists in its descent, each droplet carrying the promise of another rendezvous. And in those fleeting instants of observation and being observed, I wonder if in a distant realm, another iteration of myself sits by their own window, yearning to catch a glimpse of my world through the silvery strands of rain. Story 41, The Enchanted Sanctuary. Wandering through a dense forest on a cool, misty morning, a peculiar rustling caught my ear, weaving a melody that defied the wind's usual tune. The leaves murmured secrets, guiding my steps along a hidden path shrouded in mystery. Before me, an ancient headstone emerged, embraced by ivy and moss, whispering tales of forgotten souls. The air held the damp scent of earth and decay, urging me to pause and listen to the past calling out softly. As I knelt beside the weathered stone, my fingers traced faded engravings, feeling the stories etched in time. Each groove and imperfection told a tale of patient erosion. A gentle breeze carried the fragrance of wild roses, petals scattered like nature's own offering to the unseen beneath. Morning light filtered through the canopy above, casting dancing shadows that painted the ground with dappled patterns. The forest symphony played on, bird calls in the distance, leaves crunching beneath my feet, and water droplets tapping a gentle rhythm. A peculiar placement of the headstone caught my eye, standing alone at an odd angle, beckoning me deeper into the woods. Following its silent guidance, I discovered a faint path marked by smaller stones, leading me further into the unknown. The air grew still as I ventured along the hidden trail, footsteps hushed by a carpet of fallen leaves. Whispers surrounded me, a chorus of secrets from the forest itself. A clearing awaited me, morning mist swirling lazily around an ancient oak tree, its trunk marked by time's wisdom. Items hung from its branches, old photographs, letters in weathered bottles, personal effects spanning eras, all bearing memories connected to the grave I had found. Each item whispered of lives intertwined, of moments frozen in time. I gazed at sepia-toned photographs, read faded letters of love and loss, and felt the forest's secrets seep into my soul. The sanctuary held stories of the past, a tapestry woven from threads of memories guarded by the ancient oak tree. As sunlight pierced through the mist, illuminating objects with golden beams, a sense of reverence filled the clearing. Time seemed to stand still as I immersed myself in the echoes of the past, feeling the weight of history in each artifact I touched. The whispers of leaves wove a peaceful backdrop to my exploration, as if the forest itself was guiding me through its hidden tales. With the changing light of afternoon, a golden warmth enveloped the clearing, signaling it was time to depart. Before leaving, I hung my grandfather's old pocket watch from a branch, adding my own story to the sanctuary of memories. Walking back along the path, the whispers shifted, bidding me farewell with soft sighs of gratitude. The headstone that once seemed like an end now appeared as a beginning, a portal to a realm where memories lingered in the rustle of leaves and the gentle morning light. I kept the location of the sanctuary a secret, a sacred space existing between reality and dreams. On quiet mornings, when the mist danced and leaves whispered, I knew the sanctuary remained, holding stories, preserving memories, and awaiting the next wanderer who would heed its mystical call. Story 42. On a stormy evening, as I hurried homeward beneath a deluge of unrelenting rain, the world around me blurred into a watercolor painting of shimmering lights and dancing shadows. Amidst a large puddle reflecting the neon glow of nearby shops, a solitary figure stood with unwavering resolve. The silhouette, stark against the rippling water, seemed to lock eyes with me, its presence both enigmatic and poignant. This chance encounter left me with a lingering query about the identity of the watcher, concealed in the rain-soaked darkness. Thus began a gentle haunting, a subtle thread woven into the fabric of my days. In the ensuing days, I found myself inexplicably drawn to reflective surfaces, windows of shops, mirrors of cars, even the dark screen of my phone. Each time, in the periphery of my vision, the same figure materialized, serene and unmoving, like a frozen moment captured in time. Strangely, I felt no fear. There was an odd comfort in this silent observer, akin to discovering an old photograph of a forgotten acquaintance. Clad in antiquated attire, a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat, the figure's features remained just beyond the grasp of clarity, shrouded in mystery. I began taking evening strolls, allowing my feet to lead me through silent streets while raindrops painted the world in silvery hues. The air carried the post-rain scent, a blend of freshness, cleanliness, with hints of damp concrete and distant blooms. Occasionally I heard footsteps echoing behind me, harmonizing with my own, creating a tranquil cadence against the wet pavement. During one such walk, a peculiar observation struck me. While other reflections appeared mirrored in windows and mirrors, this enigmatic silhouette remained unchanged, defying the laws of light and shadow. Intrigued, I delved into the study of reflections, immersing myself in books on optics and the nature of light, as raindrops whispered against the library windows. The figure, it seemed, was attempting to convey a message. In each reflection, its position subtly shifted, as if gradually orienting towards a specific direction. Like a compass needle finding true north, it pointed me towards the historic quarter of town, where ancient buildings stood in silent vigil beneath canopies of age-old trees. Following this silent guidance, I stumbled upon a quaint antique shop previously unnoticed. The bell above the door chimed softly as I entered, stirring dust motes that danced in the warm amber light filtering through rain-streaked panes. Amidst the jumble of shelves and display cases, I discovered an aged photo album bound in weathered leather, its pages tinged with the passage of time. As I turned the fragile pages, a gasp caught in my throat. There, in a faded sepia photograph dated nearly a century back, stood the figure, no longer a silhouette, but a clear portrait of a person braving the rain. Clad in the same attire as glimpsed in Reflections, the figure exuded a gentle, watchful aura. According to the script beneath, they were a local doctor renowned for tending to the sick in all conditions, steadfast in their duty to aid those in distress. The album divulged more snapshots, each a fragment of a narrative. The doctor caring for patients during an ancient epidemic, standing sentinel through tempests, treading the very paths I now trod. They perished while saving lives during a brutal winter, as the final pages unveiled. Yet local lore spoke of their enduring presence as a guardian watching over the townsfolk. Now, whenever the figure materializes in Reflections, I comprehend the benevolent intent behind their vigil. They persist as they lived, a silent protector in the rain, overseeing those navigating solitary paths through storms. On damp evenings, I catch whiffs of old leather and antiseptic mingled with the earthy petrichor, a sign that they continue their rounds, ensuring all find their way home unscathed. I've kept this tale close to my heart, yet on rainy nights I notice others pausing by reflective surfaces, their expressions softening into faint smiles. I muse if they too have glimpsed the figure, sensed the same tranquil presence amidst the rain-drenched obscurity. Some enigmas, perhaps, are meant not to alarm, but to remind us that even in solitude, we are never truly alone. The figure frequents my reflections, especially when the weather turns tempestuous. I now welcome these apparitions, these gentle nudges from a vigilant spirit that transcends time like rain through leaves. In a world often too brash and clamorous, there is a profound solace in sharing the quiet darkness with a guardian who chose to linger, maintaining their eternal watch in the realm between raindrops and reflections.